inside. Jimmy Johnson. The clock chimes for number 48.
Gentleman Jim.
Love it when it's four wide. Love it when it's fast. Love it when the leaders cross the back is moving fast. Love it when they're making lots of noise. Can't wait to hear these double says.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
Let's go racing, boys. Racing, boys.
After a week off, NASCAR back and at its racing roots. Fox Sports welcoming you to Martinsville, Virginia. It's the sport's shortest and oldest track. Can Jimmy Johnson continue his Martinsville magic and maybe win his first race this year in chilly temperatures here in Virginia? Jeff Burton coming off a win at Bristol, hoping to go back-to-back at Carl Edwards, the only two-time winner so far this year, hoping to pull into victory lane. Time for a little Martinsville madness as we welcome you to the Hollywood Hotel at Martinsville Speedway. It is a cold, chilly day, but this is the place where America gathers to go race.
It doesn't mean I like it.
They're trying to warm up.
Racing here at Martinsville. Yeah.
Darrell Walter, Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers, thanks for being with us. And Darrell, when we last left, your voice, we're glad your voice is back. You're feeling well.
Yeah, thanks for the car. That was a great gesture. You finally gave me something besides grief.
Yeah, but the thing is, right now, I knew it might take your breath away. I didn't realize it would take your voice away.
I was speechless.
Mysteries, Elder Davis.
Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this day, for the opportunity to gather together for this great sport. We thank you for Sprint, for Goodies, for organizations that sponsor such things as this, Father. We thank you for Clay Campbell, for all the staff at Martinsville Speedway. We pray, Father, that you will be with each driver, the crews, watch over, protect them. We pray that you'll be with each person that is here today as they go home, that you'll watch over them, give us all safe transportation. For it's in thy name I pray. Amen.
For our national anthem today, the Virginia Tech Precision Marching Band, the Heidi Tidies.
This small, quiet Virginia town ready to host a noisy 3,400 pushing, shoving, driving match. It's NASCAR on Fox. I've never asked it before until we started doing this.
Maybe with being sponsored by Miller, Sway Bar.
The Sway Bar?
Yeah. A lot of people start swaying.
There you go, the Sway Bar. We had not heard the Sway Bar until just now.
Famous words in motorsports. On behalf of our Grand Marshal Frank Beamer of the Hokies football team, the Vice President of Marketing for Goodies, Darren Singer.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Jeff Hammond, the honorary starter. We're getting ready to start the race. 500 laps in Martinsville, Virginia. It's NASCAR.
Hard-fought, tight racing. We come from your favorite racetrack, Darrell, to mine. I love this place.
Well, and you know what? This place is small, and it doesn't seem like it'd be all that physical. But this joint will wear you out. I tell you why. A lot of jerking on the wheel, getting through these tight turns. You use your left leg all day long. When you leave here after this race is over with, you'll be aching all over your head, your back, your legs. You'll be worn out when this baby's over with.
Larry, we hear it all the time here, how a crew chief has to counsel his driver to be patient, but aggressive. Now, that's really two different sides of the same coin.
His leg's going to be aching. My head's going to be aching because it is such a challenge here mentally for the crew chief. Yeah, you've got to stay on that driver about taking care of equipment, patient. As Darrell said, this is a 100-lap race. 400 laps, you're just trying to survive this thing. Then you race the last 100 laps. But as we saw at Bristol, the other short track 2 weeks ago, when we get near the end, strategy, it could play a huge role in the outcome of this race.
I want patience, but I want it now.
Patiently aggressive, I might add.
We have a lot of aggression in this booth and very little patience, as you're about to find out over 500 laps. Here's today's FedEx Racetrack's question from Scott in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Where is it legal to pass on a restart before the line?
Well, whether you're in the outside line or the inside line does not matter. On a restart, once the green flag displayed, you can pass to the right. Now, that's only on restart. Start of the race, you have to stay in line till you get to the start-finish line.
Visit foxsports.com, keyword FedEx, for more information on how your question could be our FedEx Letter of the Week. I'll look at the starting lineup. Jeff Gordon, Denny Hamlin will share the front row.
Let's see if we can get Denny on the radio here. Hey, Denny Hamlin, it's a DW in the Fox booth. Got a copy, buddy?
10-4.
Hey, listen, man, you've been really close. You almost had Bristol 2 weeks ago, or another short track, one of your favorites. What can we look for today, bud?
Hopefully we can run the same way we did at Bristol with a little bit different result. You know, it's just kind of been bugged with a little bit of bad luck here lately. And if we can just get over that, we're going to have us some wins, and hopefully we peak at the right time. That's the most important thing.
Well, you're starting by what I'd consider probably the king of Martinsville. Can you dethrone him today?
Yeah, I mean, he looked really good in practice. The 48 looked extremely good in practice. So, you know, it's going to be the same old story, it looks like, through the course of this race. And if we keep up with him, hopefully we'll have something for him when it counts.
All right, buddy, keep your chin up, hang in there, drive hard. I know you will, and good luck. Maybe you can win one today.
10-4, thank you.
That's Denny Hamlin starting outside pole today. Make it a great race day with a perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Just turn left and enjoy Budweiser, the great American lager. For 12 spots. They have an incredibly tough chore in these opening laps. Trying to move forward, but more importantly, trying to stay on the lead lap, because that leader's going to be coming in a hurry.
These cars are so close together in speed, Mike, that the only way that you can get a guy out of your way and go by him is to bump him. I mean, it's accepted here. You know you're going to get it. Somebody's leaning on that back bumper, you know they're going to move you up so they can get by.
Now, Greg Biffle comes in here second in the Sprint Cup points. He qualified 19th. They had to change engines before qualifying. He'll be one of those guys. He'll have to go to the rear of the field at the start of this race.
But one thing you got to be careful with here is don't beat the front end up so badly that you close up the ductwork and the brake opening, the brake coolers down there, because that'll put you out of the race too.
There you see it, 500 laps. Pit road runs from turn 3 all the way to turn 2, 30 miles per hour, 130 to 40 laps on Sunoco race fuel.
Here's a look at that long, winding pit road. You enter on turn number 3 and come all the way around and exit. And under green flag conditions, that takes a long time.
30 miles an hour, it seems like it takes forever.
It is only 40 degrees here. This is Racing's Fenway. It's Lambeau Field, and folks are dressed like they would be for a Packers game today, but they're here. These grandstands not quite full. A lot more tickets were sold than are occupied today because of the weather, but these hardy fans, they came here for action, and they are not going to be denied.
DW, I had to do this whole deal at Bristol, and it was fun, but not near as much fun as having you do it with me. Hey. So you know what? It's short track racing. Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time.
Hey, Hammond, hold them down, Hammond. Hold them down. Be nice, boys. Be nice. Buggity, buggity, buggity. Let's go racing, boys.
gets a good bite up there off turn 4. He'll lead the first lap. He'll get those 5 bonus points.
Of course, Jeff's going to be real nice to him right now because it's, you know, first lap of the race. You don't want to knock a fender in on the tire or anything right now. So he'll be nice to him as long as he can maintain that bottom groove like that.
But Jeff Gordon wants those 5 bonus points as well. Will he get it?
Yes, he did, by an inch. It looked like.
He
Just
did.
by 3/1000ths of a second. Gordon led that lap.
But guys, look at the battle for second. Eric Almirola had that great run at Bristol. He wants second place away from Denny Hamlin in 11.
You know what he's doing, Larry? He's auditioning.
Yes, he is.
Had a great run at Bristol 2 weeks ago, finished 8th. And here he is today, pounding that thing right up alongside Denny Hamlin. He's looking for the lead here shortly.
And after qualifying 3rd, told everybody he loves this place.
A lot of talent. Good kid.
And
Got a
Jamie
lot of
Mack,
talent.
right behind him in the 26, McMurray, had to qualify on time. A very unfamiliar position for him to be in. Boy, did he respond. Qualified 5th, and he's right up there racing with the leaders.
I expect him to run good here. And I tell you why, this crew chief, Larry. He was my crew chief. He was Rusty's crew chief. We always ran well here, Larry Carter.
Denny Hamlin in 11 finally found a hole to get to the bottom, but he fell all the way back to 5th before he found that hole behind Kyle Busch riding in the 18 car there.
Carroll, you have no friends here. Your teammate won't let you. Nobody's going to let you in.
No, what you try to do is not make people too mad. You just rough them up a little bit, push them around a little bit, scoot them out of your way. Don't knock them out of your way. You want to make it, you want the guy in front of you to think, oh, that was just one of them racing deals, when you really know it wasn't.
That Brooks and Dunn song, Boot, Scoot, Boogie.
That's right.
I thought it was written about this place. You boot them, you scoot them out of the way, and you boogie on.
That's a nice one.
McMurray, he's wanting to take that second spot away from Eric Almirola in the 8 car. Kyle Busch in the 18 trying to fill the hole as well. They've got Almirola kicked to the high side, but while that's been going on, Jeff Gordon has pulled out almost to a 2.5 lead in that 24 car.
Well, I honestly believe that that's what we're going to see a lot of all day long. That 24 car, just from qualifying, practice, every lap it's been around this racetrack, kind of looks like that intercessor truck did yesterday that won the truck race. It's got that look.
You see that curbing. Used to be a lot taller and a lot sharper angle and was the undoing of many a driver here.
Yeah, it used to do this. It used to go up and straight over. So they've softened it. They put that little roll in it. Now you can get up on it without tearing anything up.
Eric Almirola hung on the outside, not so much backing up as it is nowhere to hide.
Tell you what, though, pretty impressed with that 49 car. Kenny Schrader had a great run at Bristol. They made the swap to Toyota this week. They're somewhat of a teammate with Bill Davis racing in the 22 car. Pretty much, he qualified in the 7th position. That's about where he's racing right now. Great run so far.
Yeah, and he had a great run yesterday. Finished 4th in the truck race in a Toyota. So that's been a big deal for this 49 team. Look, they got a sponsor. They got a new manufacturer.
They've been busy since Bristol.
And I tell you something else, too. David Hyder and Kenny Schrader, Hyder's his crew chief, they belong together. They had success together. Hyder went off, done a few other things. They're back together again, and they're getting good results.
Last top 10 for Schrader, Richmond on a short track, September 2006. Should have a good run here today.
Tell you what, while we were watching Kenny Schrader, David Reagan in the 4 car, he started in the 4th position, fell back a little bit. Remember, he made a start here about a year and a half ago. Tony Stewart pretty much said the boy was like a dart without feathers. And here he is with a great qualifying run and backing it up so far here 13 laps into the race.
A little bit of contact. It involves Mike Skinner and Juan Pablo Montoya in the 42. Here's a look at it.
They're back there battling for about 28th position. That's a little bit like that rooting and gouging you were talking about, Darrell.
Yeah, Juan just didn't want to give he didn't want to give Mike any room there, and he was really pinning him down pretty tight. You're going to get that kind of contact. You don't give a little.
Here comes Casey Kane. He's got Kyle Busch hung up on the outside. And Kyle's teammate Tony Stewart going to take advantage as well. That's 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th.
One thing I see, these guys are working that outside. Yesterday in the truck race, we had no outside groove. But I believe today, these guys, they've got to go the outside to make passes. They'll bring that outside groove in, I believe, as the race wears on.
But you're right, Darrell. We watched final practice yesterday. All 43 cars were running within about 2/10 of each other. Everybody's running the same speed.
Got to do the bump and run if you want to get around somebody.
Dale Jr., good bit of contact with Bill Elliott, who's in the Wood Brothers 21 this week. The Wood Brothers from Stewart, Virginia, just a short ride west on US 58 from this speedway. This is their home racetrack, and they always put forth a special effort here.
And you just mark it. Here's Junior running back in 21st, 22nd place. He gets track position, he can lead this race with that same race car that he can't pass anybody with.
We're 18 laps into this race, and I would say we're within about 5 to 6 laps of Jeff Gordon in the 24 car, our leader, catching the back of the field.
And that's when you earn your money here. Kyle Busch, who was involved in a big skirmish toward the end of yesterday's truck race, he said, I saw a hole and tried to make it.
Yeah, I mean, I understand how it could happen. He went in there too hard. Okay, but then he got on the brakes and the thing started wheel hopping. And when they start to wheel hop, you're out of control. He was a little bit out of control before it happened, and then that just put him into Johnny Benson. That was a shame.
But you see the graphic right there.
Around he goes,
in the 8th position.
Boy, right in front of his brother.
Right in front of him, 2/3 of the field.
No, not right in front of his brother. His brother spun him out.
Oh, that.
It looks like the only other thing that happened was J.J. Yaley there in a 96 car got tagged from behind. No real damage.
I believe you'll see this 2-car show a little brotherly love here.
Blaney in the 22.
Here comes the 2. Hello. Oh, brother, where art thou?
Darrell, about all you can say,
there
was no give and take there.
Nope.
At all.
Well, there was a hole there when Kurt Busch went down to the inside. He was right down against the curbing. But that spot of the racetrack wasn't wide enough for both of them.
Well, what happened was Kyle's up on the outside. He's trying to get down, and here comes Kurt. Make a little contact. They'll work it out.
Now, this is where it gets interesting. 21 laps into this race, we're only seeing guys somewhat at the back of the pack, or guys that were in trouble, like Kyle Busch in the 18, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88, Eric Almirola in the 8, and then pretty much everyone that was running from probably about 33rd on back, they'll hit pit road.
This caution a blessing for Dario Franchitti, Frank Biffle, and Michael McDowell. Here's Matt.
And while leader Jeff Gordon stays out, says his car isn't too bad, a tick on the tight side. The 18 of Busch and the 88 of Dale Jr. both hit pit road. Busch wants a big change. That adjustment already completed. Meanwhile, Dale Jr. says he was sliding the left front. A tendency that we do see early on here at Martinsville on Friday and Saturday in practice, locking up the left front. Some do. Good stop by Junior's bunch. He's away.
Long and winding pit road of Martinsville. You enter at turn 3, exit at turn 2. Bill Elliott will go to the tail end of the longest line for a commitment line violation coming onto pit road.
And that's a little tricky over there in turn 3. And now here's what will happen. We had about 18, 19 cars pit. What those guys hope is we maybe run about 20 or 25 laps, and then we get another caution. Everyone that stayed out, they'll then have to come to pit road, the guys that have track position.
Looks like we're ready for our clear to drive restart. Live clear indoors and out. Everyone was on the lead lap at the moment of caution, so no free pass. And we're set to go back to green here in Martinsville, Virginia after 24 laps.
Now, Jeff Gordon took the green flag at the start-finish line. Dario Franchitti in the 40 car was just coming off turn 2, 2/3 of a lap down when the green flag was displayed. It's almost like those guys that pitted, they hadn't even caught back up when the green flag came
Well,
out.
Bill Elliott was waiting to get at the end of the line. He had to stop on the back straightaway before he could even get going.
Because of the penalty, he had to restart tail end of the longest line, and there was only one line with
That's it.
everyone on the lead lap.
Well, that's a chance you take coming in when the leaders don't that early in the race. I mean, that's a real problem for trying to keep from getting lapped.
David Reagan's short track performance has been a great boon for Jack Roush. He rides in the 4th spot behind Jeff Gordon, Jamie McMurray, and Denny Hamlin. We're riding with Michael Waltrip as he battles Dave Blaney.
Holy cow.
Whoa, Michael.
Well, no, that 2-car again.
Still inside.
That 2-car just got into Michael and running down in the corner, and he couldn't get it turned.
Clear right there. Clear.
I think it may have cut down. I don't know if Michael had a flat or not.
And Darrell, I think it put him up there in no man's land where you pick up a lot of stuff on your hot tires. It'll make you feel like you've got a flat tire.
Yeah, the 2-car, I don't know. He just looked like he couldn't get slowed down, and he used Michael for brakes.
Jamie McMurray now begins to close up on Jeff Gordon. That's for the lead. They're side by side for 3rd. Oh, David Reagan got the spot from Denny Hamlin. And look at this cluster. As Matt Kenseth moves aside, Kyle Busch coming through in the 18.
And most of these guys, they have 4 fresh tires.
Michael McDowell right there. Driver
Real tight to the center. Real tight.
Boy, Kenseth can't get to the bottom. He's going to lose a lot of spots.
Oh, it's just kind of like Daytona and Talladega. When you get out of that bottom groove right now, there's just no grip on the outside, and they freight train right by you.
Now, while we were watching this, Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car just moved around Denny Hamlin in the 11, took the 4th position away. Looks like Jimmy Johnson, he's got a car that's good on that long run.
Dick Berggren.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson indeed does have a good car. He has picked up 6 spots since the drop of the green flag. But his crew chief, Chad Knaus, about every 10 laps, is in his ear on the radio. Take care of those brakes.
Well, that's ongoing all day long. I mean, that's a crew chief's job. That's his #1 message to his driver today. And the thing about it, when you're in there sitting on the pit box like Chad is, you can see what's going on with the brakes. You can see the rotors, see the dust out of the wheels. You see a lot of things.
Jimmy Johnson's teammate Jeff Gordon is the leader. He's led all but one of the 33 laps, still leads. Tony Stewart has now dropped to 14th, and Greg Biffle, who had to start last due to an engine change, there's Biffle's number 16, which cannot get out of the cellar. He's in grave danger of being lapped by the race leader.
Hey, who else is in grave danger is Greg Biffle's teammate right in front of him, Matt Kenseth. They made a pit stop that last
turn 4.
Saw that one coming. The 7 and the 84 have been having a little.
Robbie Gordon and Mike Skinner in the 84 car.
They've been passing along little welcoming to each other.
Well, there's 2 of the most stand on it and turn left drivers we have.
Yes, it is. But, Mike, we were just talking about Greg Biffle and Matt Kenseth. Boy, that caution couldn't have come quick enough for those 2 guys.
See, this starts way over here. Let's see, where are we here? Well, this actually started in turn 2. They're down there in 3 and 4 now with when they spun each other out. But that actually started off in turn 2.
It takes a long time to wreck here sometimes.
Yeah, it does. But the thing about this place, yesterday we had 1 truck out of the race. Today we might, all 43 cars could easily be running at the end of this race because you beat your car up, you bang it all up, but you don't knock yourself out of the race. Dig.
Jimmy Johnson has been only an air pressure adjustment on this 4-tire change. He's won 3 in a row, Krista.
Jamie McMurray, very good. He said he's just a little bit tight, but they are not going to make any adjustments. Just a 4-tire change for Jamie. Steve.
Carl Edwards just leaving pit road, an air pressure adjustment on the 99, Matt.
Pole sitter Jeff Gordon, the very first pit stall, fueling that car up. They've already completed the track bar adjustment. Gordon just a tick on the tight side.
And a collision on pit road. Jeff Burton was exiting his pit as Matt Kenseth toward the back was coming in, and they collided, slowing both and perhaps damaging both cars.
And this is one of the most treacherous pit roads that we go to. The boxes are small, and pit road is very narrow. We're looking out of Jeff Burton in the 31 car. And there you see Jeff Burton trying to leave, Matt Kenseth trying to come in. That's not the driver's fault. That should be on the shoulders of the crew chief and the spotter.
Go sounds an awful lot like whoa sometimes.
Exactly, exactly.
You have to learn to say stop.
There's the damage on Burton's car. Kenseth was the next to last lead lap driver to come into his pit. While we're under caution, let's have a look at today's State Farm Safety Report. It's all about crew safety. Here's Jeff Hammond.
I've spent a lot of time talking about driver safety, but today we're going to talk about pit crew safety. You know, I'm a pit crew member at heart, and when I was on pit road, I didn't have any kind of safety gear. Probably the biggest thing I had to protect me was my sunglasses. But today, if you take a look at Ryan, look at the way he's dressed. He's got himself a fire suit, protective hand wear, knee pads, and also a helmet. Trust me, it works. But you got to understand, this is what NASCAR's come up with to try to keep these guys safe on pit road. We've seen a lot of incidences where these guys have taken a lot of abuse, but NASCAR has at least made steps to try to protect them.
Thanks, Jeff. For more safety info, log on to foxsports.com. More than any other, 43.
15 times. Richard did.
Now, what we had on that caution right there, we had the top 9 cars stay out. But remember what? When all those guys pitted on lap 22, these are the guys that made that pit stop. And now Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88, he wants the lead from Bobby Labonte.
Boy, and he got a left rear quarter full of Labonte. Jr. takes the lead. Crowd on its feet. Now they can jump up, stand at their feet, and get warm.
Got a bunch of shop towels down there they're waving around.
The Goodies folks handed those out in pre-race. They're orange.
Yeah, I know. We used to have orange shop towels.
But when I look at the top 9 right now that strategy played right into their hand, because of the top 9, only one guy started this race in the top 20, Eric Almirola. Everyone else started in the back half of the field. They needed that strategy to work this way.
Well, remember just before this caution, we said that car that he's struggling to be 21st in, let him get out front.
And there he is.
He just ran a 20.09.
Which is his fastest lap of the race on lap 51.
He was mired back there running 21.50s a little bit ago.
Bill Elliott got the free pass on that last caution. And the worst news of that pit stop for Matt Kenseth was not the bump with Jeff Burton. It's that when his car came to rest, the crew came and serviced it. He was not legally in the pit box, so Kenseth serves a 1-lap penalty.
Well, we saw yesterday Jack Sprague in the 2 truck. He had a fast truck. He probably could have won the race. Had a mistake in the pits. First thing you know, never heard of him again.
Now, the 2 teammates there, Jeff Gordon in the 24, Jimmy Johnson in the 48, they did make a pit stop on that last caution there. They're battling Montoya in the 42 car for 7th.
When that last caution flag came out, 2 drivers who'd had an earlier get-together, Michael Waltrip and Kurt Busch, had more contact. After that caution came out, you see the back end of Kurt's car all jacked up, and a little damage to Michael's as well.
Yeah, I don't think Michael was real happy with Kurt after what happened over in turn 3 there earlier, so a little payback.
This is a battle for second right here. Casey Mears in the 5 car battling Bobby Labonte in the 43. And there's Eric Almirola in that 8 car again, who started up in the 3rd position.
Matt Tony Stewart earlier started dropping through the field to 12th place before the caution. What's up?
His car was wicked loose, Mike. He hit pit road in the 16th position, went back out 25th. Reason, a number of changes. It took a little extra time. Pulled a spring rubber out of the right rear, made a significant track bar adjustment, an air pressure adjustment. Went down 2 rounds when they made that track bar adjustment. It was just so loose on entry and on exit, he was just trying to hang on to it.
Whoop, trouble turn 4.
Oh, Labonte gets spun
by Almirola, and here's the...
And Jeff Gordon looks like he'll just get his car stopped, as well as Jimmy Johnson in the 48. There you see Truex Jr. in the 1. He's backwards, and the whole field has just had to stop.
Now what will be interesting, NASCAR has access to all of the video replays of not only the incident, but who stopped on track, and we'll see who they judge being involved in the accident and who won't. But pretty much, when everybody takes off, you fall in line as you go.
Another fine mess you got me into.
There's a little bit of damage on the front end of that 24
he
car.
got a little bit. I don't think it hurt anything. He just nerfed that 5 car, I think it was.
This was a battle for second.
And Eric just gets in there and gets in the side of Bobby Labonte, and then around they all go.
Chain reaction from there.
And that's perhaps an example of aggression without patience.
Do you see that 48 car slide through there? Watch this. I think kind of a combination of two things. Eric is trying to close the hole that Bobby Labonte was trying to get down in.
Another fine. Ready to go green with our Claret & Clear to Drive restart. Get Claret & Clear, get back to feeling like yourself again. It'll be Dale Jr., Casey Mears, Jimmy Johnson, Jamie McMurray, and Juan Pablo Montoya, the front 5. We still have 39 cars on the lead lap as we get ready to restart.
That'll be quite a fight on that inside line between Robbie Gordon, Matt Kenseth in the 17, as well as J.J. Yaley in the 96, trying to be the first car 1 lap down to get that free pass.
I'm going to wind up my Ridgeway clock, like that grandfather clock, and I'm going to wind up the volume now. Let's crank it up a while. Jr. just ran his quickest lap of the race. He and Casey Mears both just ran their quickest individual laps of the race, and they're trying to take off.
I tell you what, I know it's early. We still have 432 laps, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. said last year, I'm tired of getting beat in Martinsville by Hendrick Motorsports.
How about
Sorensen around.
Turn 2 down there, guys?
Entering turn 1.
Caution will wait.
Heavy go.
Hey, what you got to be doing, it takes some of that patience we're talking about. Junior has a great car. Don't wear it out. I mean, he's setting a pretty fast pace right now. There's no need to. Just run hard enough to stay in the front.
What is it Jeff Hammond said in pre-race? Just enough to win the turkey.
Fourth caution of the day. J.J. Yaley got the free pass. Mike Skinner received it on the prior caution. So we restart with 39 lead lap cars after 73 laps complete. Bill Elliott, a late pit stop, will miss this restart and go a lap down. Dale Jr., your leader.
We had about 7 or 8 cars that came to pit road that time, including Jeff Gordon. They continued to kind of massage and work on that nose of that car. Now, Matt Kenseth in the 17 car, remember, penalized a lap for pitting out of the box up there trying to get that free pass.
Yeah, the 24 came back in. They wanted to be sure that that grill opening was not letting rubber dirt get into the radiator. That could cause them a heating problem before the day's over with.
Travis Kvapil having a strong run for Yates Racing. Still sponsor hunting with his number 28. Battling Juan Pablo Montoya there. 7th place at stake. Krista.
Juan Montoya running extremely well. And remember, he ran well here last year as a rookie. In fact, completed all 1,006 laps here. Some say that's his most impressive stat in his rookie year. As crew chief Donnie Wingo said, remember, Martinsville, similar to a road course. Juan Pablo Montoya, very good on the road courses, very good in year number 2 at the Paperclip.
Yeah, Chris, I talked to Juan. He was certainly proud of winning a Sprint Cup race at Sonoma, but I think he was more prouder of finishing all the laps and finishing 16th and 8th here in both races.
Well, a road racer knows how to get down in a sharp turn like this. They know how to use the brakes and get down in there without upsetting the car, and I think that's why he's good here. It's not about the gas, it's about the brakes.
Casey Kane in 5th, right between the pair of Roush Fenway cars. Highest up in the field, Jamie McMurray and David Reagan, 4th and 6th. Let's listen and ride a little bit with Casey.
Or not.
Darrell and I sat down and talked to Casey the other day. This is his 150th career start. We asked him about it. He said, you know, I didn't even know that till someone on a radio interview mentioned it to me earlier in the week.
Speaking of Casey's, how about Casey Mears? They're in the number 2 position. Dick?
Now, Casey Mears is having quite a run for himself, Mike. He was not very good in practice at all, qualified poorly, so he started way back in the 39th position when the green flag dropped today. But he has motored all the way forward to the 2nd spot, in part due to the fact that he hit it on the very first caution flag, took 4 tires. They unloaded with the same setup Jimmy Johnson used to win the race here last fall. Casey didn't like it, put his own setup on it, and this car is alive. Moments ago, he said on the radio that he thinks they can win the race today.
Boy, that'd be a big, pleasant surprise. Casey's such a good kid, and, you know, he did a great job second half of last year, but that team has gone through, he constantly is dealing with change from one car to the other, from one crew chief to another. They just need to get him into a groove, and I think he can do fine.
Jeff Gordon trying to work his way through the field. He just passed Paul Menard and Martin Truex for 30th position after leading 44 laps early. A lengthy pit stop put him out back. Matt?
Mike, 2 stops on pit road for Jeff Gordon. Steve Letard, how bad's the damage?
I don't think the damage is pretty bad in those new Chevrolet. I think it's mostly cosmetic. I can't say enough about this crew. Everybody has your motorsports built a brand new car to come up here. This place is near and dear to our heart. Hopefully we can get it back up front the next 400 laps.
Long way to go, and fortunately today, plenty of time to get there.
Where that car is so good, well, it's good everywhere, really, the 24 car, but getting down in the corner, he gets a run on a guy, and he really can stick it in under him and make the pass.
Riding with Elliott Sadler, who's got an ailing back since Wednesday. Patrick Carpentier alongside in the 10, having a strong top 20 run. You heard in the pre-race, Dennis Setzer is standing by if needed to relieve for Sadler.
Look at him out. You know he's hurting a little bit, though, Michael. Watch when he gets to the corner and he got to use that left foot to put the brake on. Watch how it just pulls him down. He's almost bowing up in the seat, trying to take pressure off of his back.
Matt has more.
And Mike, looking inside that race car, his crew had put a piece of 5-inch by 6-inch padding in the lower lumbar area, and Elliott told me it's like about an L4, L5 issue is what he is dealing with. He said, Matt, I hope I can make it to halfway. I am in so much pain. It has gotten a little bit better from Friday, but every time I jump on the brakes here, it pushes me back in the seat. I get extreme pain.
You can see how he's really just holding himself in the seat almost and using that steering wheel with that right arm just to hold himself up.
87 laps complete. And the Goody's cool orange in on 100 laps, more or less 50 miles, and 20% of the distance here at Martinsville, Virginia. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leading teammate Jimmy Johnson by 1.8 seconds. Johnson has passed Casey Mears, who is now 2.8 off the lead. Then it's the forward of Jamie McMurray, Casey Kane, David Reagan, Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, we're closing in on lap 100. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is closing in on the back third of the field. Pretty much just out in front of him is about position 25 through 38. There you can see he's about to catch Bill Elliott in the 21 car.
This place is funny. You'll be driving along, everything's good, the car's coming up off the corner nice and straight, and all of a sudden it'll jump sideways, and from there on you're dog meat. And you can't figure out why. And that's I think it may have happened to Casey Mears. He was running really, really good, and all of a sudden he got sideways one time, and Jimmy Johnson flew by, and now everybody's going by.
4 Fords in the top 10 right now, including the man who's won the most races on the circuit early in this season, Carl Edwards. Here's Steve.
And Mike, you know, he has 7 starts here at Martinsville, you ride on board, but never a top 10 finish. He said this track has been his biggest obstacle. He just told Robbie Reiser, his crew chief, I'm a little bit free, but this is the most fun I've ever had at Martinsville. Started 27th,
now they've got that track position with a pretty good race car.
Well, it's 100 laps. A little optimistic that this is the most fun he's ever had here. For 100 laps, anyway.
See if he's still saying it a lap 400, huh?
I'd check that out later on in the day.
And there you see Jamie McMurray. We can't stress enough the significance of him having a good run here today. First, he's not even had a top 20 finish in his 26 car. But remember, he came in here 36th in owner points, 4 points out of 35th. We are now going by the current owner points as we got a battle for the lead with Jimmy Johnson in the 48, trying to get by his teammate, no longer a battle.
Jimmy Johnson trying for 4 in a row here.
And 5 points, buddy. Great job. Nice and smooth.
Got us points for leading the race. The last driver before Jimmy Johnson
40 cars holding this train up right here, so it's a lot of fun.
to win 3 in a row here, Darrell Waltrip.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Glad I don't have to do it now.
Hendrick Chevrolet is running 1, 2, 3.
But I do have one more race in me here, I think. I just don't know when yet.
Really?
Hope Stevie didn't listen.
Oh, I thought you'd hung up your helmet.
No, I got a rain check. I got a mulligan.
Kitchen pass?
Yeah.
All right.
We were just talking about Jamie McMurray. He's going by Casey Mears in the 5 car. This is a battle for 3rd. We can't say enough, though, about that 6 car behind him right there.
Oh, you're down.
Caution is out.
You saw McMurray and Reagan almost get together as everybody checked up for the caution lights here. J.J. Yaley, second one he's been involved in today.
I love Mike Skinner, but I believe he's hit everything out there so far with the pace car. He's
had a rough day, hasn't
he? He's been into everything and everybody.
Here comes Skinner with a little bit of damage, passing Yaley. And let's see what happened. Was it him or was it Sam Hornish?
Oh, Sam. Yeah,
Just
Sam
lifted the rear wheels off the ground.
Got him up in the air.
And then Skinner got into Hornish, and Hornish hit Yaley.
Yeah. So I apologize there, Mr. Skinner. That was not of your making.
Until after it started.
This is what Digger had to see. Our gopher cam. Yikes. He survived it. You see the tire lifted off the ground just as it came over him.
I love that.
Let's go to pit road. Dick Berggren.
Jimmy Johnson is pitting way up by turn 4. No car immediately in front of it, but this is an uneven pit stall. It's hard to get the jack under it. Steve.
Carl Edwards in the 99 says he needs just a little bit more grip air pressure adjustment for the 99, Krista.
Jamie McMurray said he's tight, but just a little bit. They're going to raise the track bar. He said it's just like it was in practice when they had the track bar too low. Matt.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88 says he's sliding all over the place. Tony Erie Jr. will attempt to fix that free condition with an air pressure change. Jr. pitting all the way down in turn 1 as the 48 of Johnson will beat him off pit road.
And another collision on pit road as Travis Kvapil tried to exit. Mike Skinner was trying to get into his pit stall, and they collided. No major damage.
The 96 had a little something to do with that, too. I mean, Skinner got hit 3 times on pit road.
See the real winner on that pit stop right there, Greg Biffle. Greg Irwin, that 16 car, picked up 12 positions. About everyone hit pit road.
Jeremy Mayfield gets the free pass on this caution. Let's get an AT&T race break from the Hollywood. Still on pit road. Kurt Busch, Travis Kvapil, Jeremy Mayfield, and Mike Skinner.
And, of course, they had to be really careful not to exceed that 30 miles per hour. They would have to make a pass-through penalty under green. So they were just tippy-toeing, trying to get back out on the racetrack, though.
Boy, Jimmy Johnson's going to have his hands full now because he got the 7 car there in front of him. The 2 just came out of the pits. Those guys are trying to stay on the lead lap.
And they are both now at the tail end of the lead lap, so they really need a caution.
Both those cars are 1 lap down plus the distance around. They're trying to keep them going 2 laps down to the race leader.
Correct, yes. Now Kurt Busch will go that 2nd lap down, so the guy that really also wants to see a caution right now is that DeWalt car, Matt Kenson, still back there fighting 1 lap down.
Just so hard to race here in the traffic like this. Kind of like sitting at a stoplight. Somebody starts to go and then somebody decides they can't go or won't go or don't go, and you run into the back of them. And that's kind of how it goes here. It's just a chain reaction. Somebody slows down, you don't, you run into them, spin them out.
J.J. Yaley and Jeremy Mayfield were trying to get back on track before the restart green, and too fast exiting the pits. They've got to come back in.
Jeremy Mayfield in the 70 car just going back out on the racetrack. Chris DeVoto were telling us that they had to change the battery on that 70 car.
And Larry, thanks for correcting me. Our scoring monitor here is incorrect. It is showing Robbie Gordon already 1 lap down, when in fact, if Jimmy Johnson gets past him, Robbie Gordon would go 1 lap down, and that is also the case with Kurt Busch. The information being fed to us by the scoring computer was mistaken.
Now, Robbie Gordon will go a lap down, but he's in the position to get the free pass should the caution come out. Sandwiched in between Jimmy Johnson and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
I'll tell you right here's what I was talking about. Somebody goes, somebody doesn't go, somebody hits somebody. It's just so difficult here. Everybody's about the same speed.
And at the end of the day, everybody's got everybody else's paint all over their cars.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy Johnson, your race leader, half a second up on deck. Caution is out in Martinsville, Virginia. A light sprinkle has blown up from the south. That's not why we're under caution. This is why.
It's more like a thunderstorm right here.
Coming off turn 4, David Rudeman.
He gets around the 8. Eric Camarolo, he gets into the 15 car there, Menard, and they just kind of keep on bouncing off each other.
It's like they had stacked up in front of him. He checked up. The guys behind him didn't.
Well, we were just saying that little group, they had their hands full trying to stay off each other.
Robbie Gordon got the free pass, and we are back under green at lap 124. Jimmy Johnson leading 2 of his Hendrick Chevy teammates, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Casey Mears, while pole sitter Jeff Gordon has climbed to 16th.
Because all of the leaders had been on pit road just a few laps ago, we only had a couple of cars at the back made a pit stop that time.
I've been watching the 24 car because I know it's just it's a matter of time, but he gets back up there. But he is so easy on that car. He's making passes. He's not forcing anybody out of his way. He's taking his time and making passes.
Greg Biffle started last, and he has moved up into the top 10. 9th place for the Biff. Steve?
And Mike, they employed some pit strategy as well. They took 2 tires on the last stop. They picked up 12 spots. Greg is saying, I just need more grip, and I'm loose getting in.
Well, when you get 2 tires, you're going to wish you had 4 of them in a very short period of time.
You can see he has no grip off the corner. The rear's just sliding around when he picks the throttle up.
My favorite saying, that's a short-term gain, which he gained 12 spots, but he's going to have a long-term loss.
The 17 of Matt Kenseth in the picture is the first car 1 lap down as Casey Mears comes up alongside. Mears the 3rd place car.
He's trying to get out of Casey's way, and he does.
And right now, Matt Kenseth is not racing Casey Mears. He's racing those 2 or 3 cars behind him, like Bobby Labonte and Travis Quapple. That's the race to stay the first car a lap down.
5th place battle. Clint Boyer, the 07, David Reagan, and Kyle Busch.
I didn't find a whole lot of happy people in the garage area this morning. Talked to Gil Martineau, the crew chief for Clint Boyer in that 07. They were pretty happy. But, Matt, how about the 18 car?
Well, Kyle Busch just climbed up another spot, now 6th. He was saying earlier, Larry Mack, that he just didn't have good turnability with the steering wheel in the center of the corner. Now, Steve Addington has adjusted for both the forward bite issue and the tightness with a track bar and air pressure adjustment. And then Kyle said, by the way, just to let you know, my air conditioning unit is blowing hot air today. Addington said we could use some of that down here.
I don't think that's all bad today. It's only 40 degrees, so keep him warm.
Sounds like a heat pump.
Like he needs to be kept warm.
Yeah. Parboiled.
Tell you, I will say, you know, he has led a lap in every race this year. Of course, he's our points leader, but I will say almost every practice they did a rebuild on that car before they sent it back out.
What they've done with that car, they've got it where it's nice and free in the center. He's really smooth right through the center. Looks like they may have given up a little bit of grip off to make it turn better for him.
Now he is 6th, just ahead of 2 of Jack Roush's Fords, Jamie McMurray and David Reagan. And Krista Reagan has been a pleasant surprise to everyone, I think including Jack Roush.
Absolutely, Mike Joy. He's dropped back a couple of positions here on these last few laps, but hey, that's okay. He said he has to be conservative at the first part of the race. Said they've always had great cars here, but starting 4th, that was really the key because he doesn't have to wear out his equipment trying to get to the front. We talked about how this track is so small. If you do not start in the front half of the field, the leaders, they put you a lap down right away. He said he's patient and being conservative. And I think, DW, were you the one at the start of the show that called him 2 years ago a dart without feathers? He's come a long way, baby.
Yeah, he is. You know, one thing we noticed here over the last 2 or 3 years, though, is Roush cars sometimes have a brake problem. We've seen Greg Biffle have a couple of times here have brake problems. Maybe they got those resolved today, but they obviously need to take care of those things.
Tell you what, who else is having a good run as we're riding with Jeff Burton in the 31 is that Red Bull car we're looking at. Brian Vickers in the 83 car. Remember, came in here for the first time since driving for Red Bull Racing that he was locked into the show, started back in the 40th position. He has now cracked the top 10.
Still 34 cars on the lead lap as Jamie McMurray comes back after Kyle Busch. Kyle passed Jamie about 5 laps ago.
Kyle's car just a little free off the corner. I think they made an adjustment on it to make it turn for him. I think it's freed him up a little off.
Would you please define a little free for Kyle Busch?
Well, he's only turning right part of the time.
Total car grip. I can't hold the back of the track. I can't hold the front of the track.
And that means you're going to lose the spot.
He's in jeopardy of losing several spots because David Reagan, we were talking about him in that 6 car, he's wanting to take advantage of that car that Kyle Busch has right now.
What I see about his car is it looks like it's not getting down in the track, like it's stiff, setting up on top of the track, and that's not good here. Got to get that transfer front to rear, front to rear.
Hendrick running 1, 2, 3, and 12. That's where pole sitter Jeff Gordon is right now in that number 24. After having damage to the front end and making 2 pit stops, he's come from the back of the pack toward the front. And look, you've got a hitchhiker. Tony Stewart right behind him has followed Gordon back up through the ranks. Stewart up to 13th now.
Remember, Tony was having a few problems early in the race, so that's 2 cars that almost worked their way back to the top 10. We still got a lot of racing to go.
Oh, yeah, that's why they came in and worked on that thing. Get it fixed now, and you won't have to worry about it later. Paying off.
Just past quarter distance in Martinsville.
You can get you one of those team shirts. Just go online, foxsports.com, dwstore.com. Get them right there. Get them while they're hot.
Tell you what, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is all over the rear bumper. His teammate Jimmy Johnson in that 48, but they've caught the back of the pack. Greg Biffle paying the price now. You saw him in the 16 car for those 2 tires. As you said, Darrell, short-term gain only.
Now you got to have 4 freshmen here every time you get a chance.
If you're gonna waste your time to come,
yeah.
get you 4.
When you're trying to put 850 horsepower down, you got to have a lot of grip. You don't get it with 2 tires.
What is it? Jake would say it's hard on those hind tires.
Hind tires, yeah. Spinning them hind tires.
Look at this battle on the right. 6th place, Clint Boyer, Denny Hamlin, Jeff Burton, and who's in the top 10 with them? Jeff Gordon in the 24 has worked his way back to the top 10.
But I do not believe we have heard the last of that 31 car, Jeff Burton. Remember, we talked to him in the pre-race show. This has not been one of his better tracks for qualifying, but they always get it good for the long haul, which 500 laps is a long haul.
You know, Jeff Gordon, he can come here, he can win the pole, and he races good. And that's how you know you got a really good car. But some guys come here, they don't qualify so well, but they race great. They don't try to qualify that well, maybe, but they race really good, and I think Burton falls into that category.
Now, I like that pass, Darrell, because Jeff Gordon came off turn 2, 3 car lengths behind the 07, and going into the corner, he was side by side with Clint Boyer.
You set people up. You can pass here without running over people, especially when you get them singled out like we are now.
Now, Boyer looks to be fading a bit, Krista.
right, Mike. And you know, it's so funny because after that last pit stop, back lap 107, Clint said his car was rotating well and it had great forward bite. Literally 2 laps ago, he said he needs forward bite. That is how quickly, I guess, things can change here at Martinsville.
But that's what I was talking about, Krista. It truly is like somebody flips a switch. You make those tires mad one time, you overheat them. I don't know if the air pressure happens to shoot up. I'm not sure what happens, and the car just goes to junk.
And just to clarify forward bite, you've got over 800 horsepower. You have a very low rear end gear, 650, and when you plant that throttle, those tires can't help but spin.
Well, you look like John Force coming out of the turn. I mean, you got both rear tires smoking almost.
Leaders in heavy traffic. David Gilliland on the outside in the 38 is going to go a lap down, and that'll leave us roughly 27 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, 27 cars on the lead lap, but all 43 still out on the racetrack.
Unless you have a mechanical failure, it's almost hard to, you can't get knocked out of the race here unless you have something mechanically go wrong. Because you can come in, bang fenders out, fix stuff, and get right back out. That's what makes it so tough racing here. Everybody stays on the track.
Which was the same thing that happened at Bristol. We had 42 cars running at the end of that race.
Yeah, and it just stays so congested all the time. It's hard to get a good rhythm going. And trust me, this is all about rhythm. You come off the corner. Oh, got a pass here. Junior go back to the lead.
Junior, he took advantage of some of this lap traffic, and he's going to take the lead back from Jimmy Johnson in the 48.
He was complaining a bit about his car being tight in the center. That's a good thing here. That way you got a lot of wheel in it in the middle of the corner, but that also means you're going to have good forward bite coming off.
The 2 leaders had a little gap after they'd passed Gilliland before they got to the 7 of Robbie Gordon, and that's where Junior made his move.
They're on their feet again, Junior Nation.
Larry, if we were outside, we'd be on our feet all day, stamping our feet and jumping up and down and doing anything to keep warm.
I think if Digger was holding a Mountain Dew, don't tell him how many T-shirts we could sell.
Hot apple cider, maybe.
Shameless. That was as shameless as it gets.
Think about it, though. I mean, good grief.
Hot cider, maybe, but Mountain Dew, not today.
You ever had hot Mountain Dew?
1948 has hosted NASCAR racing. H. Clay Earls, the track founder, and the only partner Bill France Sr. ever had in auto racing that he never bought out. And Clay's grandson, Clay Campbell, runs the racetrack today that his grandfather founded.
There you see Jeff Gordon in that 24 car. He just goes by Jamie McMurray. That will put him up into the top 5. But Jeff Gordon is loving this long green run here because that car is so good.
Looking back from Jeff Burton, who is the 4th place car now.
Tell you what he always told me, how you know it's a car.
He did tell you that. Right? He did tell you
every time I'd come to Martinsville, I remember that because I was telling him how great that car looked, and then he was a serious guy. How you know it's a car?
But you know, we're talking about long runs. Casey Mears in the 5, he has held in there so long, and this is by far the longest green run we've had. Casey in the 5 car is starting to fade now. Looks like he's about to fall into the clutches of Tony Stewart in the 20 car, right there behind David Reagan in the 6.
And we are racing the rain here today, Larry. In fact, if it was 5 degrees colder, we'd be racing the snow.
Well, there was snow in Roanoke. I had some people this morning tell me they had snow in their car this morning from Roanoke.
Fellow who's familiar with that from Massachusetts, Dick Burton.
Yeah, and I went skiing on Tuesday, and I'm going to tell you what, it was warmer on top of that mountain than it is on pit road. You were talking about Casey Mears, Larry, and the problem is twofold. First, the right front brake rotor is glowing very, very hot, so he's had to take it easy on the brakes. They think that one of the grill areas has clogged up, causing that problem. The other issue, the bigger problem, the car has gotten very, very loose on Casey Mears.
Well, I know why that was happening. Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon were having a match down the front straightaway. Jimmy Johnson finally got into Robbie Gordon over in turn 3 and 4, and they were beating and banging all the way down the front straightaway. It was big, wasn't it? There?
Yeah, if Jimmy Johnson hadn't been there, I think Robbie Gordon had been into the inside wall. That's how hard left he was turning. He didn't like what happened there.
Robbie was trying to stay on the, Dale Jr. had already passed him, so he was already a lap down. Wanted to make sure he stayed up into the free pass position. Still 22 cars on the lead lap. From Dale Jr., look back at Michael McDowell, the new driver of the 00, last year's ARCA runner-up.
Not running that bad either. He's in 23rd position and doing a pretty darn good job.
There's stuff on the track in turns 1 and 2. Somebody's bumper reinforcement. So we have a caution flag. It is the 7th one.
Can't stay under this caution long.
And we're told that Paul Menard will be the driver who receives the free pass. As we look back at the last scoring loop passed before the moment of caution. Leaders are on pit road, Dick Berggren.
And Jimmy Johnson's car is a little bit loose in, so they've got the wrench in the back window to try to adjust it. Also going to work with air pressure a little bit. This car has been fast since they unloaded it. Steve.
Dick, Jeff Burton says he's lost some rear grip. He's being patient. A track bar adjustment and an air pressure adjustment, Krista.
Virginia native Denny Hamlin on pit road. He says his car is just a little bit free on exit, tight to center, tight conditions when they're working on going up. Tap around on the track bar. Matt.
Same complaint for Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the bottom of your screen. His car still on the free side. Tony Eury Jr. going to try to adjust it one more time with air pressure.
That 48 car, they will win the battle off pit road. They just barely beat Dale Earnhardt Jr.
7th caution flag of the day. And nope, no room.
I'm surprised he didn't just go on down through there and come out on the other end.
Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Denny Hamlin, and Jeff Gordon are the front 4 on this restart ahead of McMurray, Burton, and Kane.
And with as many cars as we have 1 or more laps down, it looked like at the start of the race, Kevin Harvick in big trouble down in turn 1 and 2, all the way up the racetrack.
Shoved up into the loose stuff.
And a lot of smoke from Michael Waltrip's car.
I think that's a fender rub.
Yep.
Yes, he's definitely got that right front fender shoved in on the tire.
He's run into someone else.
Meaning there were earlier.
So here's how that happened to Michael Waltrip on the restart.
Goes down in the corner.
That's Eric Almirola.
Eric just obviously didn't go fast enough.
We're 61 laps shy of halfway, 311 to go in the race as Jimmy Johnson tries for his 4th Martinsville win in a row.
I think that tire rub on Michael's car is serious enough that he might want to consider doing something about it, because he's remember back in California a year or so ago, had a little tire rub, didn't work out too good.
And of course, what he's hoping for, he's still on the lead lap. He's certainly hoping that a caution comes out and that the caution is not him.
Kyle Busch 3 wide on the outside again. How's this going to work out?
Not good.
Not too good.
Not too good. I wouldn't try that.
Matt, Kyle has had an interesting day.
You're fine, you're fine, you're fine.
It's been an e-ticket ride so far. He did have the issue you saw from the video, braking issues. Basically, he's got lots of pedal, but just no braking power. Now, Steve Addington's pit stall is down in the center of 1 and 2. He says, I can see that our car, one of the only cars not blowing the brake rotors. Go ahead and dial some front brake into it. See if that might help a little more.
So what's that mean when you've got a firm pedal, but the car's not stopping?
What happens is you'll put in a really hard set of pads to try to be sure you got enough pad to go the whole race. They'll glaze over sometime. Got a car up in the wall, and I think
it's Michael.
Might be the 55.
I'll tell you what, he's going to make it to pit road, it looks like. But how about this battle for second? I think these guys know that weather could be lurking. Denny Hamlin in the 11, he wants second place away from those 2 Hendrick cars.
They're going at each other pretty hard right here now. But you got to tip your hat to that 24 car. I've seen him do it here before, make up 2 or 3 laps a day. He just had to come through the field. But here he is, sniffing the lead.
Remember the great battle he and Jimmy Johnson had here that came right down to the final turn of the final lap and that final short straightaway with Johnson defeating his mentor.
They've got pretty equal race cars just looking at the time around here.
remember back on our third caution at lap 56, he was involved in a little mishap on the front straightaway. You see all the damage on the nose of the car. Steve Letarte made several pit stops. They kept that car on the lead lap. He was all the way back in about 30th position, and here about 130 laps later, he's sitting there battling Denny Hamlin for second.
As a matter of fact, it looks to me like that Jeff and Denny both are just a skosh faster than Jimmy Johnson. They're chasing him down. They're playing like this a 250-lap race right now. I think what you'll see with Junior's car, he's right here behind Jimmy.
Spin out, back straightaway, Bill Elliott. Elliott's gone around, and that'll bring us under caution for the 8th time today. Not really. He's okay. Pass the Tums when you get a chance.
Well, if he is down there, he'd be wanting a couple more hot dogs.
That's right. All right, ready for our Claret and Clear to Drive restart. Lift Claret and Clear indoors and out. Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jamie McMurray bring him down for the restart.
Boy, Hamlin is wanting to get a piece of the back of that 48 car. He had the nose stuck up under there.
Right now trying to clear the lap car of Matt Kenseth. Matt trying to get the lap back the hard way by racing leader Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, Matt's been right there. Just can't get the lucky dog. Can't get anything working here, but he's a lap down and got a pretty good old race car.
And how he got a lap down was early in the race under a pit stop. Got knocked out of his pit box. He got caught for pitting out of the box, a 1-lap penalty.
Kenseth scratching, clawing, trying to get his lap back. Here comes Hamlin on the outside. Denny Hamlin showing us that Toyota is going to be a factor on these short tracks this year as well as the speedways.
I'd like to see somebody get that outside working. They keep inching it up. Get about a half a car. Oh, he got a great man. He diamond that. Hamlin diamond that corner off that time and got a run under Jimmy. And he's going to be able to make the pass here.
Yeah, he got the bottom. He'll get the bite off turn 2. He'll probably win the drag race down into turn 3.
Yeah, he went in there a little high and cut that thing under Jimmy and got that inside line, and man, he went right by him.
Denny Hamlin led the first lap of this race. Now, 207 laps later, he's back in front once again.
It's so easy. Once you get in front here, you can actually, you can almost coast and keep the lead. Because with no one in front of you, you don't have to do anything. Just back off, float it down in there, and gas it up off the floor.
You know, you go back to Bristol 2 weeks ago, looks like Denny Hamlin and 11 Mike Ford, they were going to win that race. And for 2 years in a row, with a Chevrolet last year, a Toyota this year, they had a fuel pickup problem, cost them that win again.
They're your Toyota top performers so far. Denny Hamlin's last win came last July in New Hampshire 25 races ago. He has 3 victories. In addition to that one, he won twice at Pocono in his rookie season.
And that's the thing that's so frustrating for a young driver. He won those races last year, thought he was going to have a great year this year, and they've come so close, but they just can't close the deal.
Now, while we're watching this battle, Martin Truex Jr. has had a rough weekend, qualified back in the 42nd position, but he had stayed on the lead lap. He just had to make an unscheduled pit stop, so he will go probably close to 2 laps down.
39 laps, make it 38 to halfway, 288 to full distance here in Martinsville. The skies to the south looking a little better. That ceiling has come up a bit. No more rain on the glass here in our Fox booth as Denny Hamlin hauls them around.
Got a little bitty circle like this. You create a lot of lift, a lot of hot air going up into the sky. Here goes Kenny Schrader getting turned around. Hold on to her, Schrader. Hold on to her, Schrader.
And someone got in the back of Kurt Busch in the 2 car.
96 may have turned the 2 around. That was sort of a chain reaction.
Was that the reverse of something that happened earlier?
Sort of.
Yeah.
Now, what will happen with that caution, Matt Kenseth will finally get back on the...
Let's have a look at this one from Elliott Sadler's onboard camera. And Schrader just ahead.
It's right up there. And opens the bottom up. See, that's one of those things when you wonder if Kenny got in the gas and had to get back out, pedaled it a little bit.
And, Darrell, you said it earlier in the broadcast, hard to blame anybody for something like that at Martinsville.
Yeah.
And Biffle
coming down the pit lane.
That's
Rather interesting strategy.
4 tires here, 4 tires.
What's up, Krista?
Well, they were not planning on coming in. They had just said, we are going to stay out. But now Denny is coming in. The plan right now, the car is just a little push in the center and a little push off the turns. But this was not a scheduled stop. Like we talked about, they're fighting the clock on this weather. So this was a last-minute decision for the 11, our leader.
So, Krista, who made the call? Did the crew chief or did the driver?
That is still to be determined. The last voice I heard was Mike Ford telling Denny Hamlin, we are staying out.
Yeah, we had very few lead lap cars make a pit stop that time.
Kenseth, the last of 23 cars on the lead lap. As we go back to green, 32 laps to halfway, 282 to the checker.
And we will monitor Denny Hamlin in the 11 car. He had to restart back in 19th position. We actually have 23 cars on the lead lap with Matt Kenseth getting that free pass.
It's just not a good time to be back there, Larry. I mean, everybody's sort of racing to 250 right now because of the rain that you see on our screen right there. And that means there's going to be some pretty aggressive driving back in there where he is.
Well, Matt, making an unexpected pit stop turned out okay for Jeff Gordon, but he had a lot more time to work with than perhaps Hamlin does.
A lot of conversation, Mike, back and forth between Steve Letarte and Jeff. Steve told him, weather is all around us no matter what anybody else does. We are staying out. Jeff said 10-4, and then Jeff said, oh boy, the 11 just hit the commitment line and he's on pit road. That's going to cost them big.
Well, we only had about 25 to 30 laps on those tires, which is not that many laps at Martinsville, especially when everyone stays out on them.
Well, that may turn out to be short-term pain, long-term gain for Hamlin.
Yeah.
But it'll be a long while before that plays out.
There's a line back there on the back straightaway, and once you drop 2 tires below that line, you have got to come to pit road. You can't fake it in either. You fake it in, you hit that line, you got to come on in.
You're not involved, you're committed.
You got that right, just like the bacon.
There you see it right there. And the thing about it, unlike most racetracks we go to, the crew chief, the driver, they have a full lap to make a decision. Here you have just a little over half a lap because you enter on the backstretch going into 3.
But, Jeff, how many times did you say, Darrell, stay out, and all of a sudden there he is, I want 4 tires?
Mike, fortunately for Darrell and I, we didn't really have that much of a problem because we most of the time stayed on the same page. Darrell was very good about communicating, you know, what the car needed, and we pretty much had what I feel like we were in each other's head to where I knew what he needed, and only time we ever had different disagreements were, I would say, minor, but he never came on pit road unless he was told to.
I worked with a man named Earnhardt, and I'd say, stay out, Dell. He'd say, I'm in, and to quote him, I ain't leaving till I get 4.
Yeah, well, I worked for a man named Johnson, and I ain't talking about Jimmy. And Johnson told me one time, he said, boy, you want to drive that car, or you want to run these pits?
Message delivered.
From that day on, I'll let somebody else run the pits.
How about Jimmy Johnson? 91 laps led in all the first 5 races of this year. He just led his, there he goes across the line to lead his 93rd of the day. What a turnaround. But as expected, Hendrick right now running 1, 2, 3. Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr. favored to win here at a track where they've had a lot of success.
I don't remember what Punxsutawney Phil had to say about the weather, but this is like Groundhog's Day all over there, right here from where we were here last year.
Well, let's see what Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his team have to say about the weather.
You're doing it. Starting to get the rhythm right there. It ain't the best, but you can get you in a rhythm there and do what you can. Yeah. I'm telling you, struggle. Somebody don't drive right. We need to fix it back.
Something's wrong with the back of his car.
Yeah, it sounds like, though, they have made a change on that car that has carried it the wrong direction, that he's not liking. But, Darrell, I think also what's going on, getting close to halfway, this racetrack is starting to go through a huge transition as well.
Well, normally here, especially when it's hot, now maybe not so much today, but the track gets all rubbered up and gets big knots, balls of rubber in the turns, and that's what really upsets these race cars. The longer we go, the more that is a factor.
Temperature drops another 2 degrees. They're going to send the salt trucks out on the track.
Yeah, we're going to send the jet dryers out to heat the track up.
Now we're looking at the back of Denny Hamlin in the 11 car, and he restarted this race back in 19th about 12 laps ago. He has only made up one position. He went by Reed Sorensen in the 41 car.
He had a pretty good race car, Larry. Obviously, I mean, he got up there and got the lead away from Jimmy Johnson, but I don't know that he has a Jeff Gordon or a Jimmy Johnson car to get through the traffic the way they may be able to.
Nice and smooth, man. Hit your mark.
The only way this strategy works, one, we don't get rain, but we get past halfway in about 20 or 25 laps, get a caution. Those boys there are
halfway, and once again, the clouds lift just a bit. No more rain on the glass. Jimmy Johnson is still your leader, but there's a new second-place car. No, it's not Jeff Gordon. It's Dale Earnhardt Jr. has now climbed to second spot, passing one of his Hendrick Chevrolet teammates. Here's how it happened.
Went down into turn 3 and 4. Dale Earnhardt Jr. turns it to the bottom. He'll win the battle to turn 1, and Jeff Gordon will fall back in behind. The big problem now, Jimmy Johnson, the 48 car, is starting to catch the tail end of that pack again. A big wad of race cars back there.
Speaking of falling back, I believe that 24 car is falling back quite a bit because now Jamie McMurray is up here looking at maybe making the pass on Jeff Gordon. Matt, what are they saying down there?
What a run by Gordon, 32nd all the way back up to second, but he is starting to fade. He says the car is gone to the extremes now. It's way loose on entry, and he has no forward bite on exit. That's what he's telling Steve Letarte we have to fix on our next stop.
Well, at least it's doing one thing. It's loose getting in, loose off the corner, so that should be a little easier to fix than if you had a push at one area, front end not turning, and loose at another.
And you know, this is my analogy. Jeff Gordon reminds me of Tiger Woods. His car can be jumped and you'd never know it. He can drive it right up to and stay competitive and hang in there until he can get that thing in the pits and they can fix it.
Right behind Gordon, you see Jamie McMurray. McMurray's got to race his heart out today. He qualified 5th, had a great qualifying effort, but he needs to get into that owner's top 35 to have a qualifying exemption for next week. Where he's running right now, you saw the graphic, 27th in owner points, so that would be mission accomplished if McMurray can hang it together and maintain a good finish.
Well, he said, Mike, it's, you know, I can't think of a place I'd rather go to than Martinsville in the situation we're in right now. Not only did he have to qualify in, which he did a great job of, but he races good here too.
Fox Saturday baseball next week. And then Sunday, we're in Texas, back on the 1.5 miles.
Oh, that's big boy racing down there now.
Yes, sir. Hammond will break his spurs out. We'll be ready to go.
You got that right. You better have some hat and cattle when you get down there.
Jamie Mack in 4th place. Here's Krista.
Well, Jamie McMurray has another reason to want to do really well today. Yeah, the points, that's big. So is the Irwin Ultimate Tradesman Challenge. It's a promotion going on by his sponsor, Irwin, and for everyone who participates, Irwin is going to donate what we thought was $1 to Jamie's foundation. It's now up to $2. Last year they had 9,000 people compete. This year they're hoping for 14,000, and that money is going to go to our Fox Sports Supports charity, Autism Speaks. So Jamie, he has a lot of incentives to do well today.
I love my drivers. They're giving back. And all of these guys make a lot of money. We know that, but they're also putting a lot of back into the community as well.
Behind McMurray, about half a second, is the 5th place car, Jeff Burton. Steve.
Mike, he's coming off that win at Bristol Motor Speedway 2 weekends ago. Started 24th. He's been up into the top 5 most of the day. He says recently his car feels like it's rolled over on exit.
And again, we talked about it a while ago. I think just like we've heard Jeff Burton talk about, Jeff Gordon, I think you're going to start hearing these guys complain about their race car, have a complaint they hadn't had because the racetrack's really starting to rubber in.
Hey, halfway. We are halfway in the Goody's Cool Orange 500. That means this race is official no matter what happens with the weather the rest of the way. So now you're racing Mother Nature and trying to get through these next 248 laps.
I know that Dale Jr. was complaining a little bit about his car there to Tony Jr. a bit ago, but I think what Dale Jr. needs to realize is you may not like your car, but you're better than everybody else. And that's all that really matters.
Yeah, you're not racing a stopwatch today. We were racing it on Friday. We're racing the competition today.
It may drive like a dump truck, but you got the best one out there.
9 cautions so far, but nobody in the garage. All 43 cars still running. 21 of those are on the lead lap as we pass through half distance.
You know, we've been talking about those top 3 Hendrick cars, Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Gordon. A car that ran up there in the top 5 faded a little bit. Looks like Alan Gustafson, Casey Mears, they've maybe worked on that car and made it a little better, because he's passed 2 or 3 cars just in about the last 8 to 10 laps. And the car right in front of him now is Tony Stewart in that 20 car.
I think old Smoke, I think he's chilled out. I think he's just kind of riding along. I've been watching him. He's not being aggressive. He's just kind of got himself in a little pocket right there where he doesn't have anybody around him. I think he's waiting for something.
What did we say at the top of the show? She's really a 100-lap race.
It's a 100-lapper.
See who's left from lap 400 to 500 and go after it.
Take care of your stuff for 400 laps and then race them hard for 100.
Take you back up front to Jimmy Johnson, who works underneath Bobby Labonte, the leader in heavy traffic, and you'll hear that most all day. And look who he's about to try to lap, Kyle Busch.
Yeah, they just haven't been able to get that car under Kyle at all. That car just looks like it's setting up on the track. It doesn't look like it's getting any forward bite. Just doing a lot of sliding around.
And I tell you what, remember, Kyle Busch, he comes in here, our points leader, and the guy sitting second in points, we talked about him earlier, Greg Biffle, he's back in 30th, a lap down, so the top 2 in points, not having a great day here today.
From the bumper cam, you saw just how red Jimmy's brake rotors are glowing, getting off into the corner, as this track takes more braking force than any on the circuit.
Well, now is it worst case scenario? You got to try to get this guy a lap down. You got the nose stuck up under the back of him, and you're not getting a lot of air in those brake ducts down here, and that's where that brake heat comes from. And after a little while, if you can't get around him, you got to say, look, I got to back off for using up too much of my stuff.
Yeah, because here comes your teammate on the outside now to battle you for the lead.
And we talked about Kyle Busch and Greg Biffle. Look at Kevin Harvick.
Turn 2, Sam Hornish.
And that's going to be great news for Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick, because the caution will weigh.
Just stay right there. Stay right there. There's no need to go anywhere. Just stay right there. Stop. Sam, stop. All right.
Driver never
had a little radio trouble there.
Well, I'm not real sure why he just wanted him to stop.
Yeah, buddy, he just got loose on you. You get...
There's Dale Jr. looking ahead.
And in front of you there, stay low. One inside, one inside, one inside. Stay low, all clear.
That's how Sam Hornish went around. Pit road's open, Dick.
And Jimmy Johnson's car is every bit as strong as it was in both races last year. He won both those races last year, and right now they're going to make some very minor adjustments, a bit of a chatter when he gets going on the racetrack. Steve.
Dick, Jeff Burton says he has less rear lateral grip and a freer on entry. Krista.
Jamie McMurray is not calling for any changes other than slight air pressure adjustments in all 4 tires. Matt.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s biggest complaint, the car just would not cut in the center of the corner. Tony Eury Jr. going to make an air pressure change, the call for this stop. Meanwhile, their teammate Jeff Gordon, the first stall on pit road, his car way too free on entry and on exit. Steve Letarte going to adjust his car with air pressure as well.
Slight gain for Gordon and for Burton.
Yeah, I believe Junior may have beat Gordon out over there. I'm not sure. It looked like it.
I believe he did at that first line, Darrell, but as you remember from racing the truck here, they timed them at that next line.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yep. That line is not here.
Then Jeff Burton and Jamie McMurray.
Oh, a little stack up there on that restart. Jimmy Johnson didn't go.
And he gets a little contact from Bobby Labonte getting into the corner, and Dale Jr. gets shuffled out 3 wide.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, David Gilliland in that 38 car just bailed her off in a turn 1 shot. Earnhardt Jr. all the way up the racetrack. These guys fighting to be that first car a lap down. Burton's going to take the position away from Jr.
Just get you out of line just enough that you can't quite get going.
There you see that battle right there for third, riding with Jeff Burton in the 31.
I don't know if I'd go out there or not. I guess that's going to work out okay.
Well, you got lap cars to the inside, Darrell. Do you have any other choice?
Well, yeah, except that the 88's going to pass you. That outside is just treacherous. It just has not come in today, and there's what can happen to you. You can just get slid right up into that loose stuff, and you're going to lose a bunch of spots.
Yeah, he looks like he may lose the spot from Dale Earnhardt Jr. because now Gilliland has moved up in front of Burton. Here comes McMurray and Casey Mears.
As hard as it is to stay on that bottom and follow that car in front of you, that's still the right thing to do.
Boy, this isn't over.
Boy, he tried to get down in front of McMurray, just couldn't quite get clear.
Oh, he gave Gilliland the boot.
He didn't have enough, that hole wasn't big enough for Digger, let alone that race car.
But he will fall back in line now behind Casey Mears in the 5. Now, meanwhile, what has happened at the front of the pack while we've been watching that, Jeff Gordon in the 24 car, it took him over 200 laps, but he's back in front.
Surprise, surprise.
From 31st to 1st, took 202 laps.
What was it, 3 or 4 years ago here? We watched him at like a couple of laps down, 3 laps down, whatever it was, got them all back, and ended up winning the race.
There's nobody in this sport who's better at being patiently aggressive than Jeff Gordon.
Doesn't panic.
And you know, the amazing thing about it, 21 laps past halfway, it's actually starting to lighten up. I believe we got a 500-lap race on our hands.
Turn 2, Carpentier gets punted around.
Holy cow, they're just going everywhere.
They were 5 wide for a moment as the car 77.
And their other teammate is lined up just 2 cars behind Dale Earnhardt Jr., Casey Mears in the 5. He's back up in the top 5.
And that little bit of haze that you see out there is more of that drizzle that we had earlier.
And it's more rather than less right now.
Yeah, it just kind of comes and goes in spurts. You know, like haze up a little and then go away.
Clean restart. Michael McDowell was the free pass car that time, the rookie.
Kid's doing a good job. I've been watching him. He's been hanging right around 22, 24.
Puts him back on the lead lap.
You come to Martinsville in your very first Sprint Cup start ever and finish on the lead lap, regardless of what the finish is. You've done a good job.
Yeah, a couple of kids yesterday did a good job in that truck race. Scott Speed got him a top 10.
Yep.
Donnie Leah, 9th. Chrissy Wallace did a great job yesterday.
Jeff Gordon has a cushion, and that is David Gilliland 1 lap down between himself and Jimmy Johnson and Dale Jr. Jr. looking for second.
Tell you one thing, Larry, they're driving just a little wee bit harder because I'm hearing those engines hit those rev limiters.
Well, they know that weather is lurking.
Yep.
And if we get a caution now, of course, they'll do everything they can to try to drive this track. We get a caution for rain, it could be the race. You look at Dale Earnhardt Jr., his fastest lap of the race was 1998. He just ran a 2019 there on lap 281 with some laps on his tires.
Oh, trouble for Kyle Busch.
He's going to go to the garage area, so he will leave here not the points leader more than likely.
Yeah, not a good weekend at all. Yesterday, trouble, and again today, and
the man who would take over the points lead would be Jeff Burton. Here's what Kyle Busch said just before pulling off track.
41 down here. In corner. You're clear right there. Down here. Corner. Broke the rear gear. Shut up.
Oh,
broke the gear. Tell you, Gibbs is going to have to go back.
Broke the transmission or the rear gear. I got no gear, so I'm assuming rear gear.
And I know Jeff Hammond talked about brakes in the pre-race, but that's another thing that can play havoc here. You pull the lowest gear we pull of anywhere, 650, and that's a lot of heat back there with that low of a gear.
Now, the Gibbs boys got a little work to do, Larry. Their performance is good, but they've had some part failures that are unusual. Steering boxes, fuel pickup,
a lot of mechanical issues.
Kurt Busch in trouble. He pulls to pit road. So both Busch brothers having a tough day at Martinsville. Here's Denny Hamlin. Started outside pole, led the first lap, came back to lead 7 more. And right now is 12th.
And I think if we can get a long enough green run here that he can work his way back up there. Remember, he pitted when everyone else stayed out. back on lap 214. Restarted back in 19th, just making his way, trying to make his way back to the top 10.
One thing we heard about Jimmy Johnson's car, got a lot of cars wrecking down here, guys.
Matt Kenseth, the 17.
Carpentier.
That will bring the caution out.
Just going to say about Jimmy Johnson's car, it looks like on a restart with low air that he has the most trouble. It seems like the car gets better the longer it gets.
out.
And that is Kurt Busch's car behind the wall here at Martinsville. Jeff Gordon is your leader. After the 12th caution flag of the day in Martinsville, Virginia. Rick Hendrick's cars running 1, 2, 3, and 5, split by Jamie McMurray's Ford in 4th place.
Now they have to contend with Ryan Newman in that 12 car. He's trying to get back on the lead lap. Junior's taking a peek to the inside. Jeff Gordon opened the door just a little bit back there. See this drag race down the back straightaway.
I think Junior's got the spot.
He'll bail her off into 3, roll it around 3 and 4, and probably get the lead before they get back to the start-finish line.
Jeff Gordon keeps him pinned down tight, not giving him as much track as he would like to have, but when you get down on that inside, it's just a matter of time. You just keep inching that guy up, inching him up, and you'll make the pass. Of course, they got to be careful. I mean, they're 2 teammates, and last thing Junior wants to do is get inside that 24 car.
24 car gets a good bite in that second groove off the corner.
That's always been his forte here, man. That thing will shoot up off the corner. He's actually
Jimmy Johnson in trouble with Ryan Newman in the 12 behind the leaders.
Wow.
Newman's car was on the inside, and I believe he got loose. And in the process of spinning, got into Johnson.
And way behind that, you see Reed Sorensen in the 41. Kurt Busch in the 2 gets in trouble.
Kurt actually climbed over the curb onto the grass.
Let's see if the 12 car maybe gets the wheel hopping going down in here. That's a common thing that can happen here. He's down on the inside of Johnson. See if we can tell if he gets the wheel hopping as he gets down here in the corner. Oh, no, he got a little shove.
From Greg Biffle in the 16 car.
I think he may have got a little shove. His wheels couldn't hop because they weren't on the ground.
That's what Digger had to see.
Yep.
Brian Newman would have been the free pass car, but since he's involved in the caution, he is not eligible. He climbed over the curbing down in turn 1 to try to miss that. The splitter and the right front fender got a lot of damage as a result. They're going to try to pry some of that away. Sometimes your best tool.
Well, that sledgehammer is dangerous. I know that.
Yep, it's a big hammer.
It'll get the job done, but that guy jumped back out of the way when he saw that thing starting to take over.
So what has happened with Ryan Newman being ineligible for the free pass because he's the one who spun, it goes to the next car back. That would be Greg Biffle.
Well, now that's a chain of luck right there.
We're seeing a few cars on pit road, mainly a lot of the cars that were involved. Dick Bergman, Jimmy Johnson is in.
Yeah, he is. They're going to put 4 tires on it. He has minor cosmetic damage in the left rear corner of the car. They're going to adjust the chassis back to where it was on 2 pit stops earlier than this, which is where they were a lot happier with the car. Johnson, a quick pit stop, no work on the body at all.
Now, what's interesting, Alan Gustafson decided to bring Casey Mears in the 5 car to pit road, who was running up in the top 5. So that's some interesting strategy. We still got 202 laps to go.
Complete 199 to go. And here we go, green flag. Dale Jr. got away from the lap traffic. Nobody else did. Jeff Gordon, Jamie McMurray, Jeff Burton with some work to do on the outside. Tony Stewart up for 5th, Clint Boyer, David Reagan, Carl Edwards, and Montoya.
When you're on the lead lap and you got all these lap cars down underneath of you, that's the hardest thing to do, is not get knocked out of the groove and up in the loose stuff and lose a bunch of spots. Jeff Gordon's going to get down and he's in pretty good shape now.
check with Matt Yoakum on our two leading Hendrick teammates.
Not a lot of conversation over that last caution, but Mike, I will tell you that if you look last fall, Jeff Gordon felt like they got beat because their car was too good on long runs. We had a rash of cautions near the finish, but Gordon's issue, the tightness they have worked and worked on that, the car is so much better. Meanwhile, the 88 of Dale Jr., he says they are definitely headed in the right direction on trying to get more forward bite for that 88.
I'll say he is. He got her hooked up again.
Yeah, I think they maybe either got off on an adjustment or they were one adjustment behind, but they've got her dialed back in now.
But you know what I like? Junior complained. He told Tony Jr., you got to do something. This thing's doing whatever I forgot what he said it was doing, wasn't getting enough forward bite. Tony Jr. worked on it, fixed it for him.
That car has been great when it's been out front, and it's been a handful when it's been in traffic. Junior is out front right now. What about the fourth Hendrick car that was running up with the lead pack but pitted on that last caution? That would be Casey Mears. Here's Dick Bergman.
And the reason Casey pitted, Mike, was because they had a fender rub. They didn't want a chance blowing a tire out.
Thanks, Dick.
It was an untimely fender rub, but a timely caution for them.
13 cautions today. 20 is the record.
You know, one car that we have not talked about today, he came in here, he had to qualify on time. Dave Blaney in the 22 car, and he did it on Friday, qualified 18th. Tommy Baldwin, they have Gene Need over there now that came from the Wood Brothers. He has been in the top 15 all day long.
Turn one, Larry.
Michael Waltrip in the 55 car.
Michael was so slow down the front here that he was trying to get out of people's way, and in doing that, he got them bottled up and went 3 wide into turn 1.
In the car that was involved with him, we were just about to talk about him, Robbie Gordon, the 7, got a lap down, got the free pass. He had made his way back to 15th.
A bad day gone worse for Michael Waltrip. Watch the 55 in the middle of the track. And Matt Kenseth got in the back of Robbie Gordon as Michael spun around.
And then it looked like Almirola actually got into the left rear of Michael Waltrip. Almirola in the 8 car.
Regan Smith will be the free pass car, and that'll give us 26 lead lap cars when we restart.
It looks like Michael may be hung up on that curbing right now.
I think he is. Now, Michael come off turn 4, and he couldn't go anywhere, and all of a sudden he get 2 and 3 wide trying to get around him, and it kind of bottlenecked him up. Oh, direct.
So the hits keep on coming at Martinsville. This is caution flag.
Run a second. We may see another classic Hendrick battle.
Let's rejoin Darrell, Larry, and Mike.
5 drivers have led today. Outside of Hendrick Motorsports, there's only been 11 laps led by any other team today. What a domination of this event so far, but it's not over. 184 laps to go. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jeff Gordon up front for Hendrick Motorsports. Then it's Roush Fenway and the Ford of Jamie McMurray, the 5th qualifier, and the man who would take over the point lead, the 31 Jeff Burton.
And his teammate is lurking back there in 6th, Clint Boyer in that 07 car. So we have 2 RCR cars up in the top 6. There's Clint in the 07 and David Reagan. He just will not go away with his teammate Carl Edwards in the 99, David Reagan in the 6th.
Well, I don't know if you remember back a little while ago, I mentioned something about Tony Stewart. Looked like he may just be idling along. That guy down on the inside of Jeff Burton there.
They rang the dinner bell, didn't they?
I think maybe he decided it was time to go racing.
He's going to take that position away from Jeff Burton in that 31 car. That's a battle for 4th.
4th place for Tony.
Got a pretty good looking car. I've been keeping an eye on him, and he's got a car that's capable of getting up there and getting after these leaders.
Matt?
Mike, he's tried a few different moves. He's tried the high line, that didn't work. And then under the last caution, he was telling Greg Zipadelli, comparing his car to the other cars and how their front end just not working like the other Hendrick cars. But he said, you know what? We're going to keep jousting at it, keep taking another stab, and maybe we'll hit on something on the next stop. Right now, solid run for Stewart Ford.
David Rudeman now driving the 44 for Michael Waltrip Racing. He is 1 lap down as the leaders work around him. And Jimmy Johnson a little deeper in the pack on this restart. He's back in 15.
And he was involved in that caution back on lap 296. He has worked his way back in the top 15. I just don't know if we can say enough about that guy he's racing right now, Elliott Sadler in the 19 car. We talked about it in the pre-race. We talked about it earlier in the race. Out there driving with a very hurt back at a racetrack that's very tough to do.
Yeah, it is, because you push the brake pedal so hard so many times here, puts a lot of strain on your back. I mean, even when you're healthy, you get out of the car here with a backache.
Elliott injured his back Wednesday during his workout routine. Thought nothing of it, thought little of it, and went out and was playing sports that afternoon, and it really got to him.
Yeah, and you watch him in there. I mean, you can see he's a man in constant sorrow. I can tell you that, or constant pain, because he's just having to use his arm right here to support himself. And you watch him go down in the corner. The reason his head goes down is because he's pushing on the brake pedal with his left foot, and he kind of has to bow down in there because I'm sure it takes a little stress off his back.
But he's competitive, Darrell. He was about to close right up on the bumper of his teammate, Casey Kane.
Well, sometime when I was sick, he got a battle for the lead here, and it won't last long, I bet you.
Jeff Gordon in that 24 car trying to take the inside line on his teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88.
But you see what Jeff Gordon did then? He didn't bang into Dale Jr. He didn't root him out of the way. He just keeps sticking that nose in there. He'll get by.
Jeff Gordon wants to win, of course, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. hasn't been to victory lane in 67 races. That's powerful motivation.
Well,
almost 2 years.
This is a lot like the race we saw he and Jimmy Johnson have here, where Jeff just kept working him, but he is his teammate.
Matt?
Martinsville special place. Gordon talked on Friday about how the old patented bump and run, you just really can't do it anymore with this new car. He's won here 7 times. Meanwhile, Dale Earnhardt Jr. could call back his first ever visit to Martinsville. Even his dad told him, you might as well just park the car because you hit everything but the pace car. And he did hit the record.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, actually, his dad told him, so before you finish off, go up there and hit the pace car. Because that's the only thing you haven't hit. Matt Kenseth. I was just going to say, Matt got the lucky dog, got back in the hunt here. He's running 15th.
Come on.
Just not his day, doesn't look like.
He will stay on the lead lap. Kenseth was running 15.
He got too much damage, oh. He's going to have to do some serious repair. What is he?
And we got that. Here's Matt.
They were racing for position.
And a lot of things going on. Talking to the 20 guys now, Tony Stewart, he was saying his car, we need to work on the forward bite. That's my biggest issue. We're not losing as much in the center of the corner. He's just one of those cars that hits pit road.
Yeah, we didn't have many of the lead lap cars hit pit road. We had Tony Stewart, we had Juan Pablo Montoya, Dave Blaney, who we had just talked about, as well as Elliott Sadler. So about 4 cars up in the top 15 came.
Get that qualifying exemption next week in Texas.
About the cleanest looking car out there.
Yes. Green flag with 168 laps to go.
Well, I mentioned earlier about Jamie and his car, and Larry Carter had a lot of success here. We ran well here when he was my crew chief, Rusty Wallace, and he won here. So Larry knows this racetrack, and he's got a good setup under that car today, and that's making Jamie's job a little bit easier.
Matt Dale Jr. has been pretty much untouchable once he's had that car out front with its nose in the wind. We've got wind, but what about weather?
Well, and that's a big conversation. They've been having back and forth between Tony Jr. and Dale Jr. and Larry Mack. I think you need to come down to their pit stall when the race is over, because Tony Jr. says, yes, there's a lot of rain in the area. The radar is all green. Dale Jr. says, that doesn't mean it's going to rain. That just means there's green on the radar.
I'll vouch for that.
Last spring, Dale Jr. was leading at the rain delay. Martinsville lap 354, ended up finishing 5th.
Boy, Tony Stewart just, I know we're looking at the leader, so I'm not even going to say anything about it, but he just got himself in a big bunch of trouble back here, but he's okay now.
And got out of it.
He got out of it.
With Casey Kane in the 9 car hanging solidly up in the top 10. Well, he just dropped out of the top 10 because that 48 car right there, the Lowe's car, just drove by him.
And Kyle Busch comes back into the race, which gives us all 43 cars still running once again. Though Kyle has not come up to speed, he may take a couple of tentative laps here to see if everything's okay with that car.
Yeah, he's 56 laps down right now.
Tony Stewart is in a hornet's nest right now, Larry. He's got Juan Pablo in front of him. Got Robbie Gordon right there, and he almost wrecked. He had a run on Robbie, and Robbie cut him off getting into one. The car started wheel hopping, and he lost a couple of spots. He's trying to get it back now.
And look at Robbie Gordon's car. Even though he's been involved in 2 or 3 incidents, he's still on the lead lap in that 7 car. In Montoya, the 42 car, one of the cars that also elected to come to pit road with Tony Stewart on that last caution.
Boy, they're all stacked up right ahead of him, so nobody's going to move forward very quickly out of that bunch. 161 laps to go at Martinsville Speedway. Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to break along with Martinsville, Virginia. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leading his teammate Jeff Gordon by 0.6 of a second. You're looking back from Junior's car. There's a lot of rain to the south and west of us. Fortunately, the wind is blowing from the north to the south, and that's keeping it away from the Speedway. We were fearful of getting to halfway, and now it looks like we're going to run the distance. You see a little bit of damage on the front end of Jeff Gordon's car as he tries to chase down his teammate. It's only a little bit of damage, so we're going to make Jeff Gordon our all-state good hands driver and show you why he avoided a wreck that could have put him out of the race, and all it did was just bloody up his nose a little bit. Watch Gordon right there as things stack up in front of him.
That was back on lap 56 that this happened.
Instead of trying to hit the gas and bulldoze it through there, Gordon brought his car to a stop. The damage was minor. They got it fixed, and from 35th he raced back to the front.
And his boys are proud of him. They like what they're seeing.
Allstate, are you in good hands? But for Jeff Gordon to win, he's going to have to get past a very determined Dale Earnhardt Jr. 67 races since his last points-paying NASCAR Sprint Cup win. Trying to get his first point win for his new car on a Rick Hendrick.
A very determined Dale Earnhardt Jr. A very good race car.
Got a good car, been right there all day long. I think Jeff Gordon's car is it falls off a little bit after on the longer runs. We heard him say earlier he felt he got beat here last year because the car was too good on a long run, wasn't good on a short run. I think they've reversed that up a little bit. I don't know if that's going to pay off or not. We'll see when we get down the end.
So we've got 146 laps to go. A car that led the first lap of this race, Denny Hamlin in the 11 car, started on the outside of the front row. Back on lap 214 when we got a caution, Mike Ford with this car lead decided to come to pit road. All the other leaders stayed out. He restarted back in 19th. He just went around Carl Edwards about 2 laps ago. He has moved back to the 7th position. Still plenty of time to get back there.
So Hamlin would have a big pickup, the biggest of any driver in the Sprint Cup standings, perhaps. He and Jeff Gordon would each gain 4 or 5 positions today.
Well, we made a note that Kyle Busch is back out on the racetrack after changing the rear-end gear. We just got a message that Robbie Gordon, the 7, has broke a gear. Darrell not surprised because he's been around a few times and probably spun the thing backwards a couple of times.
Yeah, and that same thing, remember, happened to the 18 car down here early in the race. He got spun around. You reverse that thing like that, you fracture a tooth, and one falls off, and then it locks up the whole gear and tears it up. Plus, wheel hop. Big deal here, too, as well. When you lock up those rear brakes, get the hind tires jumping up and down.
Scott Riggs is also reported in the garage and out of the race. We don't have a reason on the 66, but he's also fallen by the wayside now.
He had some damage from earlier in the day. The 66 did.
And we're starting to see some of those fresh tires from that last caution by Tony Stewart and Juan Pablo Montoya. They're driving by Kevin Harvick, but this long green run is not a good friend of Tony Stewart and Montoya, because if we run far enough and we get a caution, all of these guys, including those, will have to come back to pit road for 4 fresh tires.
Krista has more on Montoya.
Well, we talked about one of the reasons Montoya is so good here is because of his road racing experience. But, you know, Montoya is an aggressive driver, aggressive by nature. Donnie Wingo said, his crew chief said, Montoya has had to learn patience. And he told me earlier this week, and this may be the best line I've heard about Martinsville, he said, Martinsville is tricky. You have to be more respectful here than Bristol. Quote, you have to drive in like a gentleman and out like an animal.
I believe he's got it figured out, DW.
Guy's seen a lot of races here. He's come here a long time.
It's a great line.
It is.
Oh, Matt Kenseth just drilled David Gilliland in turn 2, and that'll put us under caution. Kenseth's car shot up the racetrack as if he had cut a tire, but Kenseth is able to continue.
In our last caution, who was involved?
That has suspicion written all over it. You might want to check his free credit.
All right, Mr. Prosecuting Attorney, here is your evidence. Coming right up.
Hello, 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 goodbye. Hello again, goodbye.
Well, there's room for a shadow of doubt there.
Slim.
Very small shadow.
Yeah. I'm sure it's because the splitter's off the front of 17. Not enough front downforce, all that to the peoples.
Dick Bergman has put them in a window where they can make it to the end.
Yeah, they can, and Jimmy Johnson is looking for some changes to his race car. It has gotten loose, but he has gone all the way from 21st to 11th, Steve.
Jeff Burton and his crew chief Scott Miller said pack it full of fuel. It's going to be close, Krista.
The question posed to Jamie McMurray, do you want to be tighter? He said yes, but what I want more is drive off, track bar adjustment. That's the call. Matt.
Hendrick cars on the bottom. Dale Jr. says his car is a tick tight in the center. Meanwhile, Jeff Gordon's team already made the track bar adjustment. His car is good, he says. Then when he gets in the gas, he has no forward bite.
Issues. We've got issues.
I know who does have issues. Is Jeff Burton in that 31 car. That group, they're going to come out second behind Jeff Gordon. You see Dale Earnhardt Jr., the 88, they'll lose.
Flag flew. They decided to stay out, and here we go with a restart, and Blaney didn't get going. Things stack up.
Man, Blaney just stopped. I don't know if he missed a shift. I think that may be what happened, or he may have a flat tire.
He's got some sort of problem because all these cars are getting back around him. There goes David Rudiman. He'll take the lead in the 44 car, but here comes Gordon in the 24.
Boy, Blaney's got a problem, and he can't get down out of the way, and they're going to have a wreck trying to get around him.
It's going to be a while before he can get down to the bottom, Darrell, because half the field's still coming.
He must have a flat tire, and he just can't get down to the inside.
He won't get down this time. He's going to have to wait to the next lap.
Rudiman in his first drive since taking over the 44 for Dale Jarrett, who announced his retirement, and Bristol was his last points race. Rudiman is in the lead. Krista, what happened to Blaney?
Dave Blaney having such a good run today. This is just heartbreak. He just radioed in. He said ignition box or battery problem. That's the diagnosis right now.
Sam Hornish in the 77 just got kicked to the top of the racetrack.
Uh-oh, 4 wide.
4 wide.
Yikes. That can't work. And it separates again. Up front, look at how battered Rudiman's car is. He's no match for Jeff Gordon.
He's no match, but we need to document how David Rudiman, Paul Menard, and Dave Blaney got up there. Was they pitted on that last caution at lap 328, so they did not have that many laps on their tires.
And they did not pit on this most recent
They
car.
stayed out. That's a battle for position right there. Jeff Burton in the 31 car with David Rudiman. Jeff Burton will take the second spot away, and here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Well, drivers and crew chiefs have been questioning all day whether or not to pit because of the weather. Let's go back and listen a caution or two ago to Dale Jr. and Tony Jr.
Yeah. God dang, man. Kill me. You wait till the last, a little bit too late to pit. It's past the commitment line. That's fine. I mean, it's kind of a bad deal right here because we're sitting here at 370 to go where we can go to. Sitting here with these last 20 tires, and it's getting ready to rain at any minute. So there's a lot of stuff going on.
And that's the dilemma, Larry, that the crew chief has to deal with down there, trying to maintain some kind of track position, keep an eye on the weather, and the driver gets frustrated because he doesn't have all that information necessarily.
And then again, we've talked about this all day long. Like most racetracks where you enter pit road in turn 4, you have a little extra time to discuss it. Think about it. Here they enter pit road. The commitment line is just past the halfway point of the backstretch.
Jeff Hammond.
Well, my
we're talking about that track position and that pit stop that did not occur for Dale Earnhardt Jr. But think about Tony Stewart. He came down pit road at that time. He is now marred back in the traffic back in 14th. So the way this thing sometimes plays out, you need to always maintain track position at all times here at Martinsville. How important that is, we're starting to really see a good indication of a fast race car in the 20, and he may not get an opportunity to show it if he can't claw his way back up through there. But guys, I also want to point out, guess who's now just lurking outside the top 5 is that 11 car who had problems early on of Denny Hamlin. He's also making a good recovery here late in the race.
Yeah, Jeff, you're right on Tony Stewart and Juan Pablo Montoya in the 42 cars were riding with Denny Hamlin that Jeff was just talking about. They did not buy a thing by making that pit stop on lap 329 because they were almost forced to come back to pit road with the leaders on that last caution.
Well, if you're going to have a problem here like Jeff Gordon did and Denny Hamlin did, have it early. You got a lot of time to make it all back up, and that's what's happening here with the 11. Certainly the 24 is sitting in pretty good shape.
Eric Almirola his day is going up in smoke as he comes to pit road. Meanwhile, they've just pushed Dave Blaney's car to the garage, and we need to update that Ken Schrader got the free pass on that last caution. So he is now back on the lead lap, one of 23 lead lap cars.
And that's a shame for Almirola, qualified in the 3rd spot, and he was still on the lead lap in that 8 car.
He had a pretty eventful day, I might say.
Yes, he had. We've talked about cars in and out of the garage area. We also need to mention that Scott Riggs in the 66 car, we've been talking about running gear, they tore a transmission up there in the garage area, changing that transmission as we speak.
Next week, something completely different for NASCAR on Fox. The mile-and-a-half super speedway in Fort Worth, Texas. 1:30 Eastern Time, our coverage begins.
First time we've carried this new car there, and I think we're going to have a great race. The speeds that place getting off in the corner, unbelievable.
Yeah, we've already seen these cars are not bashful. They go fast. I mean, we saw over 200 miles an hour at California. We saw over 200 miles an hour at Atlanta. And Texas is a little bit quicker than there.
116 laps to go. Jeff Gordon now out in front of Jeff Burton by 1 point out. Reed Sorensen stopped at the entrance to pit road. They had to throw the yellow, and the pits are open. Most everybody comes in except Jeff Burton. Here's Krista.
This is it for Jamie McMurray. He said his car is just a little bit loose off, just not quite good enough. They're going to let the rear tires breathe air out. Track bar back to where it was. Matt.
The big adjustment for Tony Eury Jr. is really no adjustment whatsoever, just fuel, Sunoco, and tires. Meanwhile, Jeff Gordon, there was a big debate about how significant to make a track bar adjustment. As soon as he gets out of the gas, the rear end of the car just swings around.
Wow, big pickup for Denny Hamlin, and that may put him right in the catbird seat.
You know, I'm almost surprised that we saw that many cars hit pit road because it had only been a little over 20 laps since these cars were on pit road before Goodyear tires and full of Sunoco.
Restart, get clear, get back to feeling like yourself again. Jeff Burton.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about Burton because his car isn't that great. I mean, he's got a good race car, but I don't know if he got a good enough race car to hold off these guys. I think he waited a little. I think he's a little early for taking the lead.
Yeah, he's already led more laps under caution than he led total at Bristol last week. He just led the right 2 at Bristol.
Can Burton, Vickers, Edwards, and the 5 of Casey Mears hold off those cars behind them on fresher tires?
Well, again, just remember, Mike, a lot of those cars back there did a fuel only because they only needed fuel to get to the end. So actually, they're on the same schedule as far as tires. They just know they have enough Sunoco fuel to go to the end.
Saw a cat win a race here yesterday, won 150 laps on a set of tires, so they'll go the distance.
Edwards up there in the 99 car, another car that stayed out as he battles Brian Vickers. This is a battle for second.
Martin Truex just in front of the leader and giving Burton fits. Burton has not been able to get past him. On the other hand, Truex is not exactly holding him up.
No, but you can just roll in there on that outside down in the corner. You think, oh, I got this guy, but you cannot get off the corner with him.
And Truex needs to stay there because he's 2 laps down. So it would be hard for him to get the free pass at 2 laps down. He needs to get 1 back on his own, which is what he's working on.
And Travis needs to stay there because he's 1 lap down. So these guys are doing their job.
Denny Hamlin moves up on Casey Mears. That's 4th place for the number 11.
He just drove it in there and was banking that it was going to stick, and it did.
Oh, he had 4 more wheels he could depend on, 4 more tires to work with. That's a good thing about this joint. You get down under somebody, you can use them up.
We listened in on Jeff Gordon.
All right, buddy. I believe 4 of them stayed out. We can make it to the end of fuel now. The radar, I don't know what it wants to do. I'm done playing the weather. We're going to race the thing for 500 here. That's all we can do at this point.
That was Steve Letarte, his crew chief, and I agree. You just got to race it now like it's 500 laps, which is 101 laps from now.
All right, Larry, this time by and the race starts.
Yeah, you said 400 laps of getting ready for the last 100 laps.
That's the whole deal.
Jeff Burton is the leader. Steve, what's their strategy?
Well, Mike, as you know, they did not pit, and just moments ago, Jeff Burton told his crew, I'm just going to ride and save some fuel right here. Scott Miller said they are close.
They pitted with 137 laps to go. We've already had some caution laps, and here it's almost a 1-3, 1-4 ratio of a green lap to a caution lap. So I honestly believe they're going to be fine because we're not done with cautions, I don't think.
Going back to pre-race.
Uh-oh. Kenny Schrader is down in a corner with a lot of smoke.
Yep.
That's not good.
And Darrell, you just wonder, is that another tore-up gear?
That's every indication that it's a gear burning up.
Or gear lube just has that distinctive smell to it also. Of course, today it's too cold to smell anything.
Well, he's getting into his own oil.
Yeah, he's going to wreck that thing if he doesn't get it off the racetrack.
And there's the caution.
We got a pit. Inside. Car stop. Stay up.
I got rear.
Run for these guys. This is by far the best run that they have had all year. Maybe the best run this team has had.
Thanks, Dick. We're getting ready for the restart. Scott Riggs rejoins the race after a long time in the garage area. So we're set to go. It'll be 89 laps to run. Jeff Burton brings them down for the restart.
Trying to clear Brian Vickers' teammate Mike Skinner in the 84 car. Mike is actually 4 laps down, and he will accomplish it, but here comes Vickers right on the rear bumper of Jeff Burton.
What he tried to do was kind of snooker him on that restart so he could get clear of the 83 car, and he did a pretty darn good job of it. But boy, I tell you, Vickers is hustling that old car right now.
Yes, he is. He got a good run through 3 and 4 that last time. He's going to stay right on the rear bumper of Jeff Burton in the 31.
I know Burton's leading the race, and he's got a pretty good car, but I don't think he's got a good enough car to hold off these guys back there behind him.
Well, the one I'm watching, we've been talking about him about the last 200 laps. We've been watching his march back to the front, is Denny Hamlin in that 11 car. We're riding with him right now.
Right in front of Hamlin, Carl Edwards, league leader in wins so far this year, Steve.
Yeah, Mike, and remember lap 100, Carl said this is the most fun I've ever had. Well, he still thinks he's got an opportunity to have a good finish. Maybe not to win, but he says this car's good right now, but I'm not sure what it's going to be like in about 50 laps.
Thanks, Steve. Reed Sorensen back in the race after repairs in the garage.
They always told me don't borrow trouble. Just drive her as hard as you can go.
Jeff Gordon back in 5th, Darrell, 2 seconds off the lead. Got a little ways to go to catch that front pack this time.
Yeah, he really, I don't know if he's off on adjustments or what, but he hadn't been quite, I don't think, as good as he was earlier in the race. Maybe the conditions have changed just enough that the car's not that good.
Well, the 4 Hendrick cars are lined up nose to tail, but they're 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th right now. With Casey Mears and Jimmy Johnson in the 7th and 8th spots.
The top 4 right now, nobody is moving off the bottom of the racetrack. There goes Denny Hamlin. He looks like he's going to get to that left rear quarter panel of Carl Edwards. Getting in 3 and 4. He'll probably win the drag race back down the front straightaway.
You know, that was the deal where Carl was going to try to cut him off or not give him the room. Then he realized the last second that was not going to work and moved up and gave Denny room to get by. Good heads-up move right there.
Hamlin really gets off the corner good right now in that 11.
That's kind of been a trademark of those Gibbs cars here. Tony's has always been that way. Really gets good forward bite. Rocks back on those rear tires, picks that nose up, and takes off.
Krista?
Well, something to keep in mind, Denny did pit when some of those guys ahead of him did not, but he did not take tires. It was fuel only. We talked about how he gained the positions off pit road, picking up 3 positions. That is why he is on older tires than the guys behind him.
Well, you know what, Krista? I think what guys have seen is they put new tires on. It doesn't help them that much. It takes a little while for them to come in, takes a little while for the pressure to build up, and it just doesn't seem to help them that much.
And the thing about it is he moves in on Vickers in that 83 car, same way he passed Carl Edwards going down into 3 and 4. He's on the same tire schedule as these guys he's racing right here.
I just hope none of the guys today complain about this being too good of a tire.
You know, we're not done with cautions. There is so much bump and bang going on in the back of this field. I mean, Kyle Busch back in the race, 56 laps down, but he just gave Paul Menard the boot to get him out of his way. I mean, there's a lot going on back here. Elliott Sadler to the inside of Busch.
Darrell, you asked Jeff Burton in the pre-race the question about only leading 9 laps in his 3 wins. He's already led now well over 20 more laps than those 9 laps here. He's led the last 32 laps.
Maybe that was motivation.
Maybe. Dale Jr., how long will he be content to follow teammate Jeff Gordon? Looks like Junior's about a 10th a lap quicker. That may be a lot on the stopwatch, but not much on the racetrack. And you see Gordon's not giving him any extra room.
No, and I think Junior's really showing that nose underneath, like, please, come on, let me go. I'm better than you are. I'm a little faster. Certainly getting in the corner better than Jeff is, but Jeff's not going to cut him any slack at this point in the race with 75 laps to go.
Well, that's the battle for 5th right there, but we've got a battle shaping up for the lead. Denny Hamlin in the 11 car. He's pulled up to the rear bumper of Jeff Burton in the 31. 76 laps to go.
And I tell you, that 11 car, I like what he's doing. He diamonds the corner. He's up, 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 and then he tries to drive underneath. He gets a great drive up off. He's really got that move perfected down here in turns 3 and 4.
He's going to pass Jeff Burton exactly how he passed Carl Edwards, exactly how he passed Brian Vickers. Got the position through 3 and 4. They're side by side at the start-finish line.
Now, Jeff Burton, you know, normally you'd say, oh, he'll let him go, but not now. This is fighting for the lead right here, boys.
With 75 to go in Martinsville.
Jeff's thinking, if I can make him use up some of his stuff, that may even help me later.
And Burton gets the good drive off the top of the corner, enough rubber down on the outside now that he can get a good shot coming off.
Well, what you try to do is keep that guy on the inside, the 11 car. You try to keep him pinned down where he can't get back all the way in the throttle. He got him that time.
Yep, didn't work that time for Burton, as Hamlin retakes the lead. Well, let's see. The Virginia Tech band did the anthem.
Here, I'll let you know if anyone's catching.
Denny Hamlin's from Virginia. Our coordinating producer, Richie Zients, is from Virginia. So, okay, here we go. We're racing.
Lining up.
Oh, by the way, we're racing in Virginia.
It's all lining up.
It all lines up.
Now, you just heard Mike Ford tell Denny Hamlin once he got the lead from Jeff Burton, that's Denny's crew chief, that I'll let you know if anyone's catching you. But I think what the problem will be, not who's catching him, but will be the lap cars that he'll be catching in the next 10 to 20 laps.
Dale Jr. got around the 24, and I believe he'll run off and leave him now, because Junior was definitely better than Jeff, and Jeff was just not giving up, not giving in.
Now go get these other guys.
Right, Junior's quicker at this stage in the race, and it looked as if when Jeff Gordon found he was not gaining on the leaders, left Junior a little room, and off went the 88.
Yeah, I'm just not real sure what happened to the 24 car. He's just not quite as good as he was when he got back in the field and worked his way up to the front. What are they saying about the car, Matt?
Steve, before the last caution, Gordon said when he would get out of the gas, the car would just swing around loose, and now he just keyed the mic when he finally gave that position to Junior and said this car has just gone so terrible.
A day that started out great for pole sitter Jeff Gordon. He's led 90 laps today, led 3 different times. But now the race is in the hands of Denny Hamlin, who's led 3 times for 13 laps and has 4 top 10 finishes here in 5 starts. Oh man, this one's going strike 6. Someone will have a new grandfather clock. Will it be Denny Hamlin, or will it be Jeff Burton, who was close to Hamlin but a couple of laps ago had a big lurid slide in turn 1?
He had a moment down here. He was trying to get by the 17 car to kind of keep pace with the 11, our leader, and he gets in there and gets a little too hot, locks up the brakes just a tad and gets her loose.
I'd say Burton was lucky Carl Edwards didn't just run right over top of him.
Yeah, if Carl Edwards could have easily just tapped him right out of the way.
And then Dale Earnhardt Jr. just barely got in the back of Carl Edwards, but while that was going on, you see that little black dot up there, Denny Hamlin, it gave him over a second lead as we've got 55 laps to go next time back to the stripe, but he is in heavy traffic.
Yeah, he's got his work cut out for him.
You got to love this place. Kenny Schrader's back in the race. Coming out of turn 2, Schrader got a big bump and thump and almost got turned around by Robbie Gordon. Schrader's 33 laps down. Gordon's 59 laps down. They're both running like they're racing for the win.
They're still going at it.
You bet.
You can tell it'll be a while before we get back to another short track.
Yeah, we don't do this kind of stuff next week. Next week is precise. You got to be precise, precision next week.
Right now you're looking back at Dale Earnhardt Jr. from Carl Edwards. So these cars are running a lot of 2080s and 90s, and right now Denny Hamlin, as we mentioned, has just cleared some heavy traffic of Sam Hornish as well as Patrick Compartier in the 10 car, but he was running 21-0s and teens while he was fighting that traffic.
I tell you, all those first 3 or 4 cars there, they all look like they're just kind of edgy, you know. They're not hooked up. They're just kind of sliding around here right now, and it's who can do the best job of hanging on to them.
But those lap cars, those are Denny Hamlin's best friends right now, because the cars behind Hamlin are having a tougher time with the traffic. Carpentier gives way to Burton.
Tell you what I would have liked to have been. I would have liked to have been one of these guys back here about maybe the 5 or the 48 that got tires on that last caution instead of just fuel, and I'd be marching my way right on up through here.
Those Hendrick cars continue to run 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, but they just can't make a lot of gain on that 99, that 31, our leader Denny Hamlin in the 11.
I tell you what, though, I keep watching Jeff Burton, Larry, and I tell you, he's actually running better in second place than he was when he was leading this race. He's like, now he's got something to chase or somebody to follow, and he's actually running, I think, the car looks better now than it did when he was out front, kind of being conservative almost, and we got a pass here.
And he's mirroring Hamlin's lap times now. He's not falling back.
And he's keeping him in touch. He's staying in touch with him.
Jeff Gordon back around Dale Jr. That's for 4th place. So Gordon's car may have gotten a little better. Jimmy Johnson behind them and Casey Mears right behind. So 4 through 7 for the Hendrick cars. Chevrolet's right now in 5 of the first 7 positions.
Now's when you want your car. Hopefully you got a car that's good on the long run, because this is a nice long run right here.
Report of gear oil from the drivers to spotters right in that second pack of cars from Carl Edwards back to about Casey Mears. So somebody in there, maybe one of the lap cars, could be Scott Riggs, who had been in the garage area for a while and come back out. That may be where that distinctive smell of gear lube is coming from.
I don't see anything on that back panel, and usually think if they're losing any grease or anything, you'll see it up on the back of the panel there on the rear bumper. I don't see anything back there.
Yeah, they actually changed the transmission in that 66 car. We're getting a report, though, that they're actually checking the 12 car of Ryan Newman for possibly liquids coming out of that car.
And Newman's the last car on the lead lap. Well out in front of Hamlin with Robbie Gordon as a buffer. Matt?
And Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car hasn't really performed over the past 15 laps, Mike, like he's lost the handle. Gordon's car has stayed pretty consistent, but Jr.'s car has gone to the tight side in the center badly.
Well, I know they're going to be looking hard for someone that's leaking, because we can actually smell burnt rear end grease or transmission grease up here in the booth right now.
We're about 4 stories above the racetrack. Casey Kane got loose off the bumper of McDowell, but everybody straightens out. Just another of the almosts that happen with such frequency here at Martinsville.
But let's make a note. That's a battle for position between lead lap cars. McDowell still on the lead lap, and he'll take the position away from Kane in the 9 car.
Now, our production truck is down behind turn number 1, so it's about 400 feet back of the racetrack. They smell rear-end grease in the production truck, so something's cooking here at Martinsville.
I don't know if it's a 12 or not. I don't see I can't see any real residue on the back bumper yet, but it shouldn't be too hard or too long before we know who it is.
Well, it's like that game at telephone, by the way. And there's our production.
Here we are.
Trucks. There's Television
Yeah, way
City down
back
there. They queried Ryan Newman. He says it's the 44. I wonder who the 44 will say it is. David Rudiman. Maybe we'll find out, in about 42 laps.
Now, Denny Hamlin gets by Ryan Newman in the 12, so that will put Ryan a lap down. We now have 21 cars left on the lead lap with 40 to go when they get back to the stripe.
Denny Hamlin's 2008, 17th at Daytona, 41st at California, then 9th at Las Vegas, 15th in Atlanta, 6th at Bristol. So he comes in here 15th in the point standings. If he wins this race, he'll leave here 8th.
But the 6th at Bristol sounded good, but it was a sour pill to swallow because he had the car to win the race there, and for the second year in a row there had the fuel pickup cable-driven problem with the fuel cell.
There's the 44 getting a nudge from Robbie Gordon, who is 59 laps down.
Robbie Gordon needs to let the leader by. Enough is enough there. You're that many laps down, and we're under 40 laps to go. Do not race the leader that many laps down.
Actually, he ran up on the curve to get out of the way, so you're right, Larry. He got that message. Not from you, but from someone else.
You saw that lens obscured on the roof of Hamlin's car. Wonder if that was from the 44. Carl Edwards right now running in 3rd place. But Steve?
Am I just here listening to the 99 team? They may be 8 laps short on fuel, so they may not make it to the end if this thing stays green.
And then this is typical. When you get inside 100 laps to go, we're going to go down here to about 30 laps to go before we have another caution.
And it was funny. I walked through the garage here every race morning and talked to several crew chiefs about their fuel mileage. And it never fails here, Darrell. They tell me, well, we can go 135 laps, but it never matters here. It does matter here. You better believe it'll matter.
We're going to take up a break, clean up a little gear lube, and we'll come back. 36 laps to race. In Martinsville to go, Denny Hamlin leads Jeff Burton by just a couple of car lengths now. Carl Edwards is right there, and so is Jeff Gordon. The car that finally scorched its rear end to the ground was David Rudiman.
You know that guy I talked to when the race was getting ready to start? I think he can win this race. I believe that 31's better than 11.
Got 25 laps to find out, Darrell.
Well, that's his. What is he known for? Leading the last couple of laps and winning. And I'll tell you, I like the way he's looking right now. He's closing in.
And with all that lap traffic, you see like Michael McDowell there in the 00 car still trying to stay on the lead lap right now.
And I can guarantee you one thing, he's got enough car left. He hadn't used up his brakes. He hadn't used up his car at all.
And we know Denny Hamlin can make it to the end because he came in and topped off. And you can see the rotors glowing now. This is when you go ahead and use your stuff up.
That's it.
But Jeff Burton, Carl Edwards, I think the question still remains, can they make it to the end on Sunoco fuel?
That could be his Achilles heel, is if it doesn't have enough fuel. But he's got enough car, I can tell you that.
Edwards is the only Ford in the top 8. Jamie McMurray's had a great run in 9th, and McMurray will climb his way out of the danger zone should he finish there, and will not have to qualify on time when we go to Texas next week. There's McMurray.
Look at that car. Not a mark on that car.
He's driven a really good race.
He's had a great weekend ever since the garage opened on Friday morning.
And what do we say every time we come? You qualify well here, you race well here.
That's it. Right in front of Jamie McMurray, Tony Stewart in the 20 car. He's worked his way back to the top 8. And then right behind McMurray, rounding out the top 10, Clint Boyer in the 07 car.
And that 00 got in between our leader right now and Jeff Burton. He needs to let these boys go.
At the moment, Edwards, Gordon, and Earnhardt are quicker than Hamlin and Burton, but they've got some distance to make up on the racetrack. Let's have a look at the danger zone as they run right now. Remember, the top 35 in-car owner points are guaranteed in the race. When we go to Texas next weekend, we'll have knockout qualifying for you on speed. There is down to 35th, and there from Regan Smith to Rudeman to Franchitti and Blaney and Kyle Petty, who missed the race here in Martinsville, they'll have to come in on time.
So as of now, Hornets Jr. would stay in it. The one that's knocked out that was in it is David Rudeman in that 44 car who just went into the garage area with the burnt up gear.
Poor David. He has one weekend where he can kind of enjoy himself, and now he's right back on the bubble again. I tell you who might win this race for whoever's in the lead is Mother Nature, because it's actually coming down harder right now than it has any time today.
We've got 17 laps to go this time at the stripe, and actually Hamlin has put a little more distance on Jeff Burton in the 31 car.
Yeah, these lap cars have not been kind to Jeff Burton. Denny Hamlin's been able to get by him a little easier, and now Hamlin's stretching it out a little bit.
Yeah, Hamlin has a history of not wanting to root somebody out of the way to win a race. And there are a lot of folks, a lot of his fans, and a lot of fans applaud that. But as far as rooting a lap car out of the way to get to the leader, well, that's a different story, Larry. You got to do what you got to do.
Exactly. But, you know, Denny Hamlin has won races the last 2 years. He swept the Pocono races in 2006. He won at Loudon. But if there's 2 racetracks that he had said he wanted to win at, home tracks, Martinsville, Virginia, or Richmond, Virginia, he actually ran and maybe won late model races here.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's won late model races here.
Any question which car had the rear end going up, that rear gear smell? David Rudeman fell out of the race and has fallen out of the top 35. 14 laps to go.
Well, I tell you, we got those front 5 right there, 5 or 6. They're it's like a rope. They run out there a little bit and then they reel each other in like they're fishing.
Yeah, Darrell, just a few laps ago, Carl Edwards, Jeff Gordon, and Dale Earnhardt Jr., and including Jimmy Johnson, they had run right up to the rear bumper of Jeff Burton.
Yeah, these lap cars have really played havoc with some of these guys, but I'll tell you, those first 5 or 6, and even back to Tony Stewart, he's right there pounding on the back of Casey Mears.
But I think the problem, they're all just about running the same speed right now, within a tenth of each other.
This is by far the longest green flag run that we've had in this race.
You know, I know Jeff Burton's running pretty well. I got to believe, Larry, they might be holding their breath down there right now on fuel.
Yes, they are. And here's a battle for third with another car that's holding its breath on fuel, the 99 of Carl Edwards, Jeff Gordon. We know he's in good shape. He's going to take that third position away from Carl Edwards. 12 to go.
Right around the inside, gets the nice position. Carl's going to fight back on the outside, but I don't think that's a good idea. And here comes Gordon right up on the back bumper of the 31 car. And all of a sudden, as he hit the turbo,
so Jeff Burton's got to make something happen with the lap car, and does. He gets to the inside of Michael McDowell as you watch Junior and Jimmy Johnson fight it out for position. McDowell's trying hard to hold him off. Now he's already gone a lap down to the leader.
Yeah, he needs
time to let these fellas go.
Needs to get out of the way. He's been racing hard right there. He raced Hamlin hard. At least he's doing everybody the same way.
And Hamlin got another break. He got past Travis Kvapil, so that gives him a buffer to the second place car.
I tell you what, I know we're watching Carl Edwards, but I'm watching this battle between Jimmy Johnson and Dale Earnhardt Jr. They have been beating on each other all the way around this racetrack. There comes the other Hendrick car, as well as Tony Stewart in the 20.
Racing hard for 5th place. 9 to go.
Hamlin's got him a nice little lead right now, guys.
He's checked out.
But he's still got to deal with some of these lap cars. But like the 55, I don't think he'll have any issue there. He'll pull down out of the way.
And then the next car will be his teammate Kyle Busch in the 18 car. That shouldn't be a problem. He's 56 laps down.
Turn 2, a spin by Michael McDowell.
Everybody keeps going.
We stay green. We stay green.
Caution, no caution. Good call, good call.
Jeff Gordon took advantage of Jeff Burton, though, in the smoke, and got underneath Burton for second.
I'll tell you what, if I was Denny Hamlin, I'd be counting to say, come on, laps, run down.
Flat tire for McDowell. He's got to come off track. But there's only 6 laps to go. That is too many.
6 laps to go and over a second to make up for Jeff Gordon in that 24 car.
He's going to get there, Larry. I guarantee he's going to get there. I don't know if he ain't going to have time to do much with him because he got He's got the 18 and the 28 to deal with.
And I do believe that 18 will be Denny Hamlin's wingman.
I believe he dropped right in there behind him for a reason.
Yes, he did.
McDowell, black flag, sparks flying. He comes in on the rim.
Still got to give a great call to that young man in his first Sprint Cup start. Now we got Jimmy Johnson in the 48. He's going around Carl Edwards for the 4th position. 4 to go. Reed Sorensen in the 41 car up the racetrack down in 3 and 4. We stay green.
Tony Stewart moving on Dale Jr. Hamlin by himself, but will come around for 3 to go.
Yeah, he's in good shape as far as lap cars.
Kyle Busch looking back at Jeff Gordon. Kyle Busch many laps down, but he's the buffer for Denny Hamlin right now.
All Hamlin needs to do is not make a mistake. The other thing he's going to have to deal with, though, is Kenny Schrader will get out of his way because he's a number of laps down. But this 9 up here in the 83, that might be a different story.
They're still on the lead lap, and they're battling for position. Yeah, they would not be battling.
Yeah, the 9 I thought that was 83. The numbers all rubbed up on it.
Well, lap and a half to go. Denny Hamlin just has to hit those marks.
Man, I tell you what.
Here comes Gordon. Gordon's coming.
He's coming, boys. It's going to be tight.
White flag coming. Jeff Gordon lacks 3 car lengths of getting to Hamlin's rear bumper. White flag.
He's going to get there, but that's all he can do.
Last lap, he's coming hard. He's half second back.
Coming hard. Don't mess up.
Hamlin got a good run off turn 2 that time.
Watch this run into turn 3, though, Larry, and you got a slow car in front of you. Gordon's coming. He's looking to the high. He's going to diamond it off, but it's not. It's too little, too late.
The grandfather clock chimes for Denny Hamlin. He beats Jeff Gordon, Jeff Burton,
99
Jimmy Johnson,
99 out of fuel.
and Tony Stewart.
Great job, Mike. Awesome job. Love you guys.
10-4, you're the one that ran back, man. Good job.
He did. He fought hard
to hang in there.
Congratulations from Jeff Gordon, and a big win for Denny Hamlin. There is nothing, no place like home. And this.
You got your clock, babe. You got your clock.
All right. Yesterday we had a hometown favorite, a hometown team win here in the Craftsman Truck Series, and today Denny Hamlin from Virginia in Victory Circle.
Let's watch the battle behind the race winner as they came to the flag.
I believe this win will be pretty special to this young man.
As Hamlin warms things up here on the front straightaway, let's have a look at the run to the flag behind him.
This was a battle for about 5th, I think, Mike.
Teammates here fighting each other pretty hard. And you'll see the 99. He's going to run out of gas right here coming off turn 4. Just fortunately got down out of the way.
Junior beat Casey Mears back to the line to finish 6th. Carl Edwards ended up finishing 9th.
Chesterfield, Virginia's Denny Hamlin will drive into victory lane. We'll be there in a minute.
Martinsville, this car still smoking from a burnout. And Denny, what does it mean to you? You're from Chesterfield to Virginia to win in your home state.
First Virginia win for me anyway, but well, finally, curse is over, I think, I hope. You know, we had such bad luck over these last few weeks, and it finally feels good to come here and get a win in front of the hometown fans, and can't wait, man. This is, you know, this is a sign of things to come, I believe.
Congratulations, Denny. Good job. Go back to Mike.
A strategic decision may happen in a flash. If you missed it, get up to speed now, not later, with NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile. Look at that car of Denny Hamlin's. Hardly a mark on it. That's the way you be patiently aggressive and win at Martinsville.
You know, the best sound for him is when that grandfather clock hits 6 o'clock, because that's what time it is.
You know, a couple of guys that needed good runs today. They were outside the top 12. Jeff Gordon comes home 2nd. Jimmy Johnson comes home 4th. Not to mention Jamie McMurray, the 26 car. He can now breathe when we go to Texas. He's locked in.
That's right. He'll be in that top 35. We're off to Texas. Going to send it on down to the Hollywood Hotel to close us out.
All right. We'll see you guys there. A string of 24 races without a win coming to an end for Denny Hamlin. It continues, however, for Dale Earnhardt Jr. 68 straight races, still no victory. And these are your point standings for Jeff Burton, leading for the first time since after Charlotte in 06. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leading the most laps, but failing to win in the last 6 races.
Well, the thing I'm seeing right now is Jeff Burton and Kevin Harvick and Clint Boyer, all 3 RCR cars once again in the top 12, but more importantly, 1-2 as far as the 31 and 29 are concerned.
Jeff Gordon led 90 laps today, and let's check in. Matt is with him.
A second and third in 2007 here in Martinsville for the 7-time Martinsville winner. A second again. How would you describe this day? Because we've seen all kinds of weather and all kinds of on-track conditions.
It was an awesome race. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff going on out there, a lot of, swapping of the lead, and came down to pit strategy, and Denny and those guys definitely did the right strategy, taking 2. And, we just, I don't know, my car just never would go on that last 2 sets. So, it was a handful. Junior got by me, and I was just trying to hold on, and then all of a sudden it started coming to me a little bit. Luckily, it was a real long run there. I was able to get by the 99, the 31, and, make a great effort out of it. I'm just real proud of this DuPont Chevrolet Impala team. I mean, they worked hard. We had a great car.
33rd all the way back to the front.
Yeah, they had, I mean, we had such an awesome race car the first half of the race. I promise you, if we had to do that second half of the race, it wouldn't have gone so well. But I'm real proud of that. That was a great effort.
Well, Jimmy Johnson was looking to make it 4 in a row, but 4th place isn't all that bad, particularly given what happened with the incident in the middle of the race. So good day, bad day to evaluate it.
No, it definitely was a good day. I mean, we had fantastic stops, and great loads and ball to race with all day long. I feel like we had a shot to win today, and we got up there in the top 5 once it was all said and done, but losing track position early, I'm not exactly sure what went on. I hear maybe the 16 got into the 12, and then I kind of set my spin off. So just unfortunate, but short track racing.
And your crew did a great job, too. They did terrific pit stops all day long.
Jeff Burton follows up his win in Bristol with a top 5 here in Martinsville. Jeff, were you able to drive as hard as you wanted to, or were you having to conserve some of that Sunoco juice there at the end?
We conserved when we were leading there. We got out front. We were able to conserve there, but once we got going, I didn't have enough rear grip to burn enough fuel, so it actually started coming back, and I ran the 11 back down, and I thought we were going to be in pretty good shape, and that kid in the 00 car, he better learn some manners or he's going to get taught, and he can choose to do it the way he wants to, the hard way or the easy way. One way or another, he'll get taught.
And that is a veteran driver there. Words for a rookie from Jeff Burton. He finishes 3rd.
All right, Jeff from Virginia, and so is the winner there, Denny Hamlin, who at the age of 12, remember, waited for an autograph of Joe Gibbs, said, I'm going to race for you one day. I hope to. He has, and now he's won in his home state. And coming up after us tonight on Fox, as we wind things up in Martinsville, King of the Hill, American Dad, you'll laugh out loud with The Simpsons. Always, Krusty the Clown's always worth a chuckle. And again, King of the Hill. All right, so 6 races in, still no wins for Hendrick yet. And Toyota has 2 wins. They had none last year.
Well, but the thing is, right now, I'm not really surprised to see Denny Hamlin run that well and finally get to victory lane. He's been very competitive early on. But how about Hendrick? They took a week off, kind of like regrouped. Now they got all 4 of their cars up there really running well. So you got to believe that they were close. And I think if Jeff Gordon could make this maybe one more adjustment, he may have been a different winner here today. But the key thing is they're back, and I think the battle we're going to be watching the rest of this year is going to be between Toyota and Hendrick.
And as Jeff Burton said on the pre-race show, Hendrick is going to be there. The wins will eventually come. Still the team to beat, although they haven't won yet. Major League Baseball, a doubleheader for you. Next Saturday, it's opening weekend, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. And then Sunday, 1:30 Eastern, it's NASCAR on Fox from Texas Motor Speedway. Jeff Burton won there last time.
Won there last year, and one of my favorite racetracks. Guess, wonder why.
Want to say happy birthday to Greg Scopatoni, our associate director. We call him Scope. Also, former driver Dick Trickle had heart surgery. He is recovering. We wish him a speedy recovery.
Absolutely.
Just wanted to say Dick Trickle, always an entertaining name and a fun driver. All right, the real chase is now, as you've seen from Denny Hamlin winning today. 1:30 Eastern from the Texas Motor Speedway. Very different kind of race next weekend on Fox. For our entire crew, thanks for being with us on a cold, misty, cloudy, miserable weather day. For Jeff Ham and Chris Myers, thanks for watching NASCAR on Fox. Have a great week. We'll see you next weekend from Texas. Promotional considerations provided by